Central intelligence was birthed in my residence in downtown tenements with grim and no elements, man. I live my life while the wicked try. I guess you know. Real hip hop shit. Shit symphony. Yeah, I'm at the drug lab trying to figure out my next move. I gotta make this raw street hop break through. This criminology rap, this slash fake crews. I get sanity that make front page news. I'm the head trauma that makes your Scarface moves. MCs nowadays lose with balls they use. There's a war between heaven and hell with Jews. No matter what side homes, you gotta pay dues. My central intelligence was birthed in my residence in downtown tenements with grim and no elements, man. I'm a life while the wicked try edited. My life's more fucked up than joints with a seminary. The weeks that I'm dead in it, all for the cause. All be crucifying your lies, live on the Jesus cross. We hold our own court where truth is the judge. I got hollow jurors that give out guilty verdicts. These words that I live by, one day I might die by. Make my mom cry. When this shit get worse for me, the CIA murdered me for talking in 30 degrees, state of emergency. These words that I live by, one day I might die by. Make my mom cry. When this shit get worse for me, the CIA murdered me for talking in 30 degrees, state of emergency. Make the world panic more than gang faggots, lead masses go beyond banging, fuck religion. Meditate with the boys, start ramming horns with the Jewish. I'm talking saddle with Moses, being Gnostic when I walk through Jerusalem, cleanse you. Come and swell out you with a coat of suit. We left through the stars, seen the verse named Jesus. They say blues right, truth ain't to wake the youth. Before they wasted talent, end up locked in the shoot. Come on, I'm culminating when I'm in the meridian. Illumination, fuck being an idiot. I'm masturbation when I'm building my pyramid. Medicine man, blowing up the schools of American. I let you go tell a friend. Determination to leave my family. War to cross though we kill a minute man. I'm the paranoid, I think it's the end. Till I hit the earth wet when I took my first breath. I live by, one day I might die by. Make my mom cry. When this shit get worse for me, the CIA murdered me for talking in 30 degrees, state of emergency. These words that I live by, one day I might die by. Make my mom cry. When this shit get worse for me, the CIA murdered me for talking in 30 degrees, state of emergency. We dealing with a system designed to confuse niggas' minds, and it's worse when the people divide. Fighting titans, ruling the earth's tyrants, evil alliance, trying to blind us and changing the ancient God sciences. Instead of taking knowledge and applying it, the devils reversed the knowledge and gave us the spell of Leviathan. God became dog, meaning the dog star, represented by Anubis and my losing y'all. I hope y'all ready for war. I'll be busting to the trumpets blow to signify the emperor's song. With a tin of canteen and a chrome 4-4. Not dealing with man's rituals, but with God's laws. And I know I'm on the list for the things that I spit. The government act as if the artists are terrorists. They terribly pissed because the kids listen to this and get influenced by the music, so they can't tell us shit. This is rebel music, nigga. Raise your fist. The words that I speak, a nigga live and die by this. I'm just a poet with an ancient soul. A master teacher that knows how to break down and speak in code. Words that I live by, one day I might die by. Make my mom cry. When this shit get worse for me, the CIA murdered me for talking in 30 degrees, state of emergency. These words that I live by, one day I might die by. Make my mom cry. When this shit get worse for me, the CIA murdered me for talking in 30 degrees, state of emergency.
That crease, eh? Wow. Alright, fuck, enough of that. I ain't even gonna try to say anything smart till I like that drawing, huh?
Nature. Look now at aircanada.com or contact your translation. Me and this F-150, we are in it for the long haul.
Oh yeah? What about costs like insurance, maintenance, fuel?
No problem. It just won an award for lowest cost to own in its class, 5th year in a row.
Wow, sounds like you really love your truck.
Yeah. Get the Ford F-150, the truck with the Vincentric Award for lowest cost to own in its class. Now during the Ford year-end event, get up to $10,500 in rebates on select new 2019 F-150 models. Get the truck that's...
I don't know what's been happening on the news, and I don't have a newspaper, so let's find out together, right?
Epic adventure. New Zealand is closer than ever, with Air Canada flights to Auckland starting this December, so you can escape our winter to the Kiwi summer.
Oh, that's all right. I didn't think it weighed much, but the little dense bugs, they doesn't fluff out nice.
Or contact your travel agent.
680 News Time, 8:56. Now
Oh,
time for
the
the 680
business.
News Weekend Business Report.
Everything closed. Go home.
When it comes to preparing for divorce, a main focus is how much it's going to cost. This is a time when Canadians need to carefully consider how they will budget for any children, their homes, and living expenses. Now, with some costs from the process actually coming as a surprise for some, Laura Paris, associate lawyer at Shulman Law Firm, says Canada would benefit from more education on getting divorced.
They don't necessarily have a full understanding
What?
of how assets are divided, how support works, and things like that. So I think that getting people that education early on so that they understand what the divorce process actually entails, that would be something important that people would benefit from.
So to figure it out, some people turn to a lawyer, but depending on one's financial situation, it might actually be tough to afford one. But Paris says
I
it
think the
will pay
marriage
off
is like
in the long
$130
run to get
and the
legal
divorce
advice.
is $600
When you
minimum.
do get into these kind of
Something
kitchen
like
table agreements or agreements through a mediator that you haven't been given legal advice on them, sometimes you give up things that you didn't actually know that you are entitled to. And then if you want to have that agreement now set aside or revised, it's a lot more difficult of a process had you just had legal advice from the beginning. So for
And this
sure,
is why
you
I
do
may
see a
not
lot
give
of
up
people cutting
the...
corners in that sense and then coming to kind of at the end of the road to clean up their mess, unfortunately.
For those
This is
that
why I
do
won't
head
be
into divorce
enfranchised.
negotiations with a lawyer,
Will not
Paris
be
says trust can actually
enfranchised.
benefit you
I'll
financially.
fucking murk you before I fucking sign them papers, bitch.
For you, negotiate on your behalf in view of what they see to be the strengths of your case and the weaknesses of your case is the best way to go, especially when you're dealing with separation of a married couple. It is pretty cut and dry, so leaving it up to your lawyer and trusting that your lawyer does have your best interests at hand and is going to negotiate for you in the best way possible really will keep costs down.
Laura Paris is associate lawyer at Shulman Law Firm. At the Business Center, I'm Carl Garnish.
Enjoy a great big winter welcome in New York City. Seize the season with Porter Airlines at a special offer called
The first
NYC
primary consideration would be the weight,
This offer
but
includes 2-for-1
if the
tickets
buds
to
fluff out nice, it don't matter what it weighs. If I can get a
Plus,
fucking full
prefix
joint out of
meals
what's
at
there, I
the
don't give a
best
fuck.
restaurants. Make it happen.
Here's what it
January
weighs.
21 through February 9 by booking
I
your
think
flight
3 out
to
of that.
New
Wasn't
York City
expecting that.
with Porter Airlines. Visit flyporter.com/NY. Porter. Flying refined. Some things just don't fit. Like a car that doesn't suit your lifestyle. That's why Toyota offers the fun-to-drive Corolla. With available winter features like heated seats and heated side mirrors. Find the Toyota that's right for you. Lease the 2020 Corolla L for as low as $58 weekly at 2.99% APR for 52 months with $0 down. Or finance at 0.49% APR for 36 months.
This shit
Visit your
kosher
local
too?
Ontario Toyota dealer or
Huh,
shop
go figure.
Toyota.ca. Some conditions apply. Now, 680 News regional weather conditions for Shoppers Drug Mart. Got PC Optimum points? Now's the time to redeem them. It's the bonus redemption event at Shoppers Drug Mart. Get more for your points now until December 16th.
In Brampton, overcast 1 degree. Hamilton, light rain and 2. In Mississauga, overcast 1 degree. And right now in downtown Toronto, cloudy and 3 degrees.
Now, weren't they telling us it's going to be freezing today?
City News, part of the Free Radio.
I would have to go watch my own videos to find out, but I'm pretty sure they told us today it was going to be freezing, man. Or is that tomorrow? Tonight? Fuck, I don't fucking know, man.
680 News, Toronto.
Mm.
Good evening, this is
I slept today, right? Not the night.
Tim Chapman.
And I'm Eden Beba. Here's what's making news this hour.
Connie Sherman updated her will shortly before her and her husband were murdered. What does this mean for the billionaire murder case?
The city launches a new multi-billion-dollar water management project aimed at better equipping systems in the event of heavy flooding. Combine the Christmas spirit with comedy at Hotel
6 years
all
too
the
late.
way through the Christmas season.
The Leafs are on top of the Oilers in Edmonton, but lose defenseman to injury, and Pascal Siakam leads the Raptors down at Scotiabank Arena versus the Nets. Sports at 15.
And coming up in business, pay raises of 3% or more are forecast for a significant share of Canadian companies in 2020. We'll get the results of a Hayes
Really?
Canada survey.
Don't be coming to me with this broke shit then.
680 News. News Time 9:01.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's
Oh,
Mark
yeah, that
Andrews.
flushed right out.
Report is
Holy
brought to you
fuck.
by
I didn't even
Rogers
break it all up,
Wireless. Westbound 401, you will find it slow as you make your way towards the 400 to just west of the 400 in the express. We had a collision in the right lane. Emergency crews on the scene, and it looks like just clear just seconds ago. So westbound 401 west of the 400 express. All lanes are now open following an earlier collision. Rest of the westbound 401 looks good. Same story with the eastbound 401. Eastbound QEW approaching Burloak to Bronte HOV lane is blocked with construction, and then eastbound QEW through Royal Windsor, you're going to find a left lane blocked with construction. Eastbound Gardner looks pretty good heading into downtown, only seeing a minor bunch up from about Jarvis over to about Cherry. Northbound DVP 404 in good shape. Northbound 400 through Rutherford, right lane is closed with construction. Southbound 400 through King Road, a left lane blocked with construction through there. Haven't come across any troubles along the southbound 404 DVP, in pretty good shape. Westbound Gardner looks good. Westbound QEW through Winston Churchill, a left lane blocked with construction. And Kiel north of Tustin is down to a single lane both directions. That is for construction. Right now, visit Rogers for exclusive in-store offers and a chance to win one of 9 Samsung grand prizes. Contest ends December 18th. Your next report at 9:11 with the forecast. Here's Michelle Mackey.
A great night to cozy in. The wet snow mix will
Mitzi,
taper off
19,
overnight with a
11,
wind chill around
my
-7. But the wind will stick around, gusting 40 to 50 kilometers an hour out of the west tomorrow. Some lake effect flurries Sunday with a high of only -1. Regardless, it will be the nicer day of the weekend for any outdoor chores or activities. Tonight's overnight low is -2. Right now in downtown Toronto, overcast 3 degrees, but feeling like -2 with the wind chill. And at Pearson Airport, light rain 1 degree, but feeling like -5. 680 News Time 9:03.
New developments have been made in the unsolved murder of Barry.
They
and
told
Hunter.
us a
After
year
2
ago,
years, new updates have now been released.
2 Russians did it, and there's nothing they can do about it, and they know exactly who they are. They have not mentioned that in the last
Details have
year.
emerged in the case of murdered billionaire couple Barry and Honey Sherman. According to the Toronto Star, a confidant of Honey's told police detectives that Mrs. Sherman had made changes to her will 3 weeks
Confidant,
before her
piece
and her
of
husband
shit.
were murdered. It's an interesting detail considering friends and family were unable to find a will belonging to Honey after the couple were found dead in their home of December of 2017. Little information has been made public surrounding the 2-year investigation, and information
years,
surrounding
right.
the Sherman
A
estate
year
is
ago.
sealed to the
Yeah, that's
Supreme
right. They
Court
told
of
us
Canada.
that.
Toronto Homicide failed to comment when asked about any new revelations in the case last week. I'm James Mackin.
They left the scene
680 News Time
unattended.
9:04. If you've done any shopping on Queen West recently, you might have
Apotex
noticed
is
it. A once popular market boarded up and covered in graffiti. 680's Cam Dort reports on the city's new plans for the St. Patrick's Market.
The building has had its fair share of problems, from missed rent payments to poor upkeep, and even a video that showed mice crawling all over the baked goods back in 2017.
Free food for mouse. Free bacalhau for mouses.
You gotta shut this place down, bro. It appears the place did shut
Bro,
down a year later,
bro.
despite the owner saying
And I shut it
significant
down,
upgrades
bro.
were made. Councillor Joe Cressy says it's become an eyesore in a vibrant neighborhood.
For that reason, we instigated a court case to terminate the lease to return the land to the city, and we won. And what that means
Wow,
is that
one
this
with no fucking
critical piece
counterpart.
of historic and beautiful real estate will be reimagined and used for the public once again.
The owner
It's
of
not
Market Inc. is
historic,
losing
it's not
20
beautiful.
years on the lease because of the decision from the courts. I've reached out to the group, but have yet to hear anything back. I'm Cam Dorrit.
This is 680 News. The City of Toronto has launched a $3 billion project to clean up Lake Ontario and the city's waterways. According to the CBC, the first phase of the project will cost $400 million and will begin in the new year and should wrap up by 2024. It's a significant stormwater management program focused on the Don River and Central Waterfront. Mayor John Tory hopes
they
the
didn't
project will
fuck up
give
the
the
Don
city a
River
fighting
enough,
chance
eh?
against increasingly common episodes of flooding.
680 News Time 9:05. 19 puppies have gone missing from Guelph. They were allegedly stolen from a barn north of Guelph shortly after the owner listed them for sale online on an ad. The puppies were all 10 weeks old and included a variety of Labradoodle mixes. A majority of the puppies were Black Lab Shepherd Doodle mixes, as well as some Golden Doodles. Anyone with information is encouraged to contact local police so that these puppies may return home.
This is 680 News. An arson investigation has led to police identifying a woman found dead inside of a Rexdale home last week. 61-year-old Yvonne Bachelor-Vassell was pulled from a burning home on Stallion Place, located near Highway 27 and Rexdale Boulevard, just before 9:30 p.m. Police deemed the fire to be suspicious, and a suspect was later arrested at an area hospital after the fire. The accused has been identified as Joel Vassell, who is believed to be the son of the victim. Investigators are still waiting for final reports from the office of the fire marshal and the result from a post-mortem exam.
So City News
I'm gonna tell you right now, that story's gonna get real. I got a feeling for Toronto stories, that one's gonna get interesting.
Future outgoing leader Andrew Scheer isn't out of the hot seat just yet. As 6 City Jordan Reed explains, there are reports Scheer is facing an internal audit in wake of his use of party funds to cover private school costs for his 5 kids.
He's already stepped down. What are they gonna do to him? Nothing. They can't do nothing to him.
And knows exactly what he's thinking. The
He
source
bought
says the
something they
tuition
cannot
used
take
to
away
cover
from
the
him. That's
cost for his
genius.
5 children's private school was in fact included in the financial materials that was sent to the board for approval. Now, another source from the members of the Conservative Fund says that the tuition expense was actually held deliberately, and the indictment will show this. When Scheer resigned in the House of Commons, his wife Jill was tearful in the audience, and the Conservative caucus gave him a standing ovation. I'm Jordan Reed.
The Conservative caucus, yeah,
City
so
News Time 907.
what do you think's gonna happen?
Crash in
Nothing.
Scarborough has sent 2 people to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Toronto Police Constable Laura Brabant says the call came in just before 2 o'clock at Kennedy Road and Fox Ridge Drive, just north of St. Clair.
As a result of the collision, one car did catch fire. All the occupants were out of the vehicle. We closed down some roads.
There's no word on the age or gender of those involved.
6 City News Time at 9:07. A rally against cuts to education.
Whoa! 370 pounds of cocaine.
Today's rally was organized by Ontario Education Workers United. A group of students, parents, and teachers started to march along downtown streets while singing songs in defense of fully funded public education. The afternoon march came as contract talks between the 4 major teachers' unions and the government remain at a standstill. Meanwhile, Ontario high school teachers plan to stage a third one-day walkout on Wednesday. Head to 680news.com for a list of school boards affected by the strike.
680 News Time 9:08. A popular climate activist has apologized to politicians. 16-year-old Swedish climate activist Greta Thunberg, who was recently named Times Person of the Year,
Climate skipper.
apologized in Turin today after she said politicians should be put, quote, against the wall. Some critics took it to mean that she was advocating violence, but Thunberg said she was making a literal translation from
One
Swedish,
shot
which
and
means
you'll
to
be
ask
gone.
hard questions. Thunberg explained herself on Twitter, saying that she is against all forms of violence.
The Swedish invented the Tech 9, bitch. Don't fuck around, eh?
We'll get you laughing too. Our Jeff Verholman is here with the details.
The Second City's Improv Showdown, an all-ages
Why?
comedy show,
Because they don't have
has
a big
taken
enough
over
market
Hotel X,
for
running
themselves. They
shows
sold it
until
to the
January
US.
5th.
Get it?
Fun
Separate
for the whole
company. When it
family,
went under, it
according
didn't
to
affect the
Reed
main
Janice,
company
the
at all.
director of Improv
Intertech
Showdown.
and
It's a competitive improv show. 2 teams face off.
Interdynamics or some
It's
shit.
a
I'll pull it
bunch
up
of
right
improv
now.
games and songs and scenes, and we split the audience up into 2 different teams, and they compete against each other to win the coveted Improv Showdown Cup. It's a different show every single time.
Hotel X is also going to start showing classic Christmas movies for the holiday season, like Elf and A Christmas Story. If you want to check out the Improv Showdown, tickets are $20 for adults, $15 for kids. Get them through Eventbrite. I'm Jeff Ho-Ho-Ho-Homan.
Yo, if you have suicide disease, I don't know how to describe this. My teeth feel weird, bro.
Traffic and weather together on the ones.
680 News Time 9:09. The holidays were made for the
Okay, I'm not waiting for them to tell us this story.
mouth-watering, delicious.
So, December 14th, 3:33 p.m. Okay, almost 370 pounds of cocaine seized at Quebec, U.S. border, which is interesting because why is it listed in pounds? This is Canada and it's cocaine, right? 166.166.6 kilos. 166.6 kilos. Really? Almost 370 pounds of cocaine. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, where am I? U.S. border agent. That's weird. U.S. border agents seized almost 370 pounds, 166.6 kilos of cocaine that was hidden in a truck preparing to enter Canada at Vermont's Derby Line border crossing, a court documents say. It says, okay, you covered all your bases there. The cocaine packed in 142 brick-shaped packages, where's my calculator, was found by agents of U.S. Customs and Border Protection in the early morning hours of December 7th. I need someone to put this on it. In the early morning hours of December 7th, what the fuck? Why didn't you tell us before? Last week. With the help of a drug-sniffing dog in a hidden compartment, said an affidavit filed in the case. That's called a split infinitive. Split infinitive. Okay, because what that sentence says is you had the help of a dog that does drugs that was in a hidden compartment. The dog was in it. You fucked up your sentence, bro. The compartment had been discovered empty by agents when entering the United States from Canada 2 days earlier at the Alexandria Bay, New York port of entry, the court document said. You fucking idiots. Why would you fucking bring some? Why would you go across empty? Of course they're not going to tell you they found a compartment, stupid. The driver of the, you should have put like a fucking, something fucking weird so that they would go, what is this for? And you go, oh, I didn't know I was there. Then you'd know that they knew. The driver of the Quebec registered truck and trailer, Jason Nelson, was charged in federal court in Plattsburgh, New York, with possession with intent to distribute cocaine. His age and nationality were not listed in court documents. Okay, the truck's from Quebec. This is in Vermont. How'd you get to New York? Nelson is being held pending a hearing next week. His lawyer did not immediately return a call and email Saturday seeking comment. It's the same fucking day, bro. The truck was first searched in Alexandria Bay when a drug inspection dog detected residual odors of narcotics. Now, I know the drug sniffing dog thing is not real. It's bullshit. But residual odors, motherfucker. Officers then discovered an empty custom-made compartment in the front of the truck, the document said. Nelson told officers he was headed to Tremont, Pennsylvania. The truck was carrying furniture. Just before 1:30 a.m. on December 7th, Nelson, moron, why would you come in at that time? Nelson and his truck arrived at the Derby Line port of entry as it was preparing to enter Canada. Nelson told agents the truck was empty. In Vermont, another drug-sniffing dog indicated the presence of narcotics. A further search by border agents discovered the bricks. Bricks. It's not in quotes, just bricks. This is the word now. This is the proper word for a package of cocaine is a brick. Okay. A random sampling of the packages field tested positive for cocaine, the document said. Oh, really? So we don't know if, well, it's probably 370 pounds of it. It probably is cocaine, right? What did it say? 142. Hold on. We're going to fucking calculate this.
Reality. Go to btc.ca/online loan. Apply in minutes and get up to $100,000 within 48 hours of approval.
Oh, you know what it is? It's like 10, it's like 1.1 kg. 370 pounds.
Rexall can help with
They
holiday
measure in
shopping.
pounds a kilo.
I haven't
Motherfucker,
even
we'll do it twice.
started my holiday shopping. You know, Rexall has great holiday gift sets, and you'll get 20 bonus air miles after spending $15 on them. I
370
checked everyone off my
divided by
list. I don't even have a
142
list yet.
equals
I'll help you out with that. Here.
2.60 pounds. Okay.
Gotta start somewhere. Get
166.
20 bonus air miles for spending $15 or more on select holiday gift sets, including cosmetics, bath, skincare, and more. Offer ends December 19th. Visit Rexall.ca for details.
This is All News Radio, 680 News. It's 2 degrees with some light rain. Good evening from the 680 News broadcast.
1,170 grams each, approximately. They're all over count. That's nice.
New details emerge in the case of Barry and Honey Sherman, a confidant to Honey telling police that Mrs.
The
Sherman
real drug money. The real drug money. The richest people you could imagine.
St. Patrick's Market on Queen West loses a long illegal battle with.
Oh, it's only Canadian dollars, but they got a few billion of them, man.
Will be repurposed for the public once again. The City of Toronto launches a $3 billion water management program focusing on the Don River and Central Waterfront. The goal is to provide a better system to deal with increasingly common episodes of flooding. And coming up after sports, the federal government allowing
I'm talking to the people in the beaches.
To shelves soon. 680 News Time at 9:15. Now 680 Sports from Sportsnet 590 to 10. Here's Shelby.
Thanks, Tim. The third period just got going between the Leafs and Oilers in Edmonton. Ilya Mikheyev scored his first goal in
furniture. I'm a little.
22 games.
Yeah, there's rules.
The Leafs, Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph have the call right here on Sportsnet 590. The
They've tried changing all these. I don't know where it stands now.
To know, Leafs defenseman
They
Tyson
don't
Barrie
want
has been
people
officially ruled out
dropping loads off in the U.S. and taking loads out if they're Canadian trucks, but I think they changed that for fuel efficiency or something.
head off left-hand dribble, cross go to the right. Howard.
Your truck shouldn't have come back empty, bro.
And just like that, the Raptors back up by 11 midway through the third.
It's currently 87.
Empty compartment, full trailer.
Raptors in the
Full
third quarter.
compartment,
Pascal
empty
Siakam
trailer.
leads the
It's
team
easy
with
to figure
27
out.
points.
Fucking
28
stupid,
teams in
bro.
action tonight in the NHL. The Red Wings are up 2-0 on the Montreal Canadiens. Capitals lead the Lightning 3-1. Bruins lead the Panthers 3-1. And the Heisman Trophy voting is in as LSU quarterback Joe Burrow has officially taken home the prize for top college.
Why is it always a brick?
Sports
You
at
can
15
mold the
and
shit into
45
any
past
shape
every
you
hour
want.
or
Why is it
anytime
always a
with the home
fucking
of
brick?
Timothy. Sportsnet 590 The Fan.
Why not a baseball or a dildo or some shit? What's wrong with you people? No wonder they fucking catch it all the time. They just look for bricks on the x-ray. Why has this guy got a fucking load of bricks in his truck?
Frank has a multi-million-dollar marketing system that will get your home sold, guaranteed. Go to getleo.com and start packing.
They can gamma ray that shit.
Some bargains have to be seen to be believed. When you see someone,
But they can only do 2 to 4% of all the containers coming out of Canada.
These
In
beach
and out of
bargains are
Canada.
unbelievably good. Book your winter beach holiday. Enjoy the best weather in Acapulco, Mexico, and vacation better with our best price guarantee. Hurry, our best beach bargains will be around for less time than you bargained for.
Yeah, it is
Look
St.
now at your
Patrick's
travel
Market.
agent
That's
for-
St. Patrick's Square, whatever that street is. That's Sketch Park.
Leo and Associates at Remax West. I'm Scott McGillivray.
On the
and I
north
trust
side of
Frank's
Queen Street,
world-class
across from City
multi-million-dollar
TV, much
marketing
music, all
system
that shit.
to create incredible demand to get your home sold. Go to
I've made so much
getleo.com
money and
today.
done so much drugs down there,
6
man.
news
Holy
time,
fuck.
9:17.
That's why I don't hang out down there
The
now,
federal
man. Nothing
government's
good
going to
for
allow
me.
cannabis vaping products despite not having tested the potential health effects. According to the CBC, cannabis vapes are among a series of new products, including edibles and extracts, that can be legally sold nationwide as of Tuesday. Health Canada says it's tested cannabis vaping liquids, but not the vapor emitted when those compounds are heated. The release comes amid an outbreak of vaping-associated lung illnesses and deaths across North America. 680 News Time, 9:18. As we near the end of the decade, YouTube is breaking down the songs we couldn't get enough of.
The fuck was that?
Topping the charts is Despacito with a whopping 6.5 billion views. Despacito became the world's first video to reach 5 billion on the platform, earning a Guinness World Record in 2018.
That's a bad word, I'm sure.
Ed Sheeran's Shape of You with 4.5 billion views, followed by See You Again by Wiz Khalifa featuring Charlie Puth with 4.3 billion views. Here's to the next decade. 680 News Time, 9:19. UN climate talks in Madrid are being extended after new text suggests countries are backtracking from the 2015 Paris Accord.
What?
Also don't
I guess
reflect
I don't
the
get it.
urgent warnings from scientists that greenhouse gas emissions need to fall sharply and quickly. Jennifer Morgan of Greenpeace International says to put the climate change proposal in place would be a betrayal of people around the world.
Suffering from the impacts and those that are calling for action. The Chilean presidency had one job: protect the integrity of the Paris Agreement and not allow it to be torn apart by cynicism and greed.
Chilean
Paris
officials
Agreement's
presiding over
bullshit.
the talks say they plan to
Ain't
propose
gonna do
a
shit.
compromise
Fuck the Paris
for all the
Agreement.
Canadian press.
I'm not signing the Paris Agreement.
It's one of the best annual chances for GTA space junkies to lay eyes on a shooting star. A very special meteor showers here, but the
You know how
weather
many
is
fucking
awful.
whatever
680's
shooting
Alex
stars I
Bluefield
see
here
up
with
here,
some viewing
man? Holy
tips.
fuck.
The problem this year, besides potentially
Sort of makes you feel
cloudy weather,
special.
the moon.
Bing,
It
you
should
go,
get
did
2
anybody else
minutes
see
lighter for
that?
interference. The full moon was Thursday, meaning the night sky will be bright this weekend, coinciding with the peak of the Geminids, likely making them harder to see. Your best bet is to head out in the early evening or a couple hours before sunrise when the moon is lower in the sky. For even better viewing, get away from the light pollution of the GTA. The Geminids are caused by
Outta
Earth
here.
passing through the debris field of an asteroid. The cosmic event gets its name because it appears like the streaks of light originate from the Gemini constellation in the night sky. At its peak this weekend, over 140 meteors per hour can be seen. You might still be able to spot one until the 17th. I'm Alex Bloomfield.
680 News Time, 9:20. Traffic and weather next.
From finger painting to times tables, school's the start of a journey that can take kids anywhere. Our education system needs to evolve to reflect this journey, to prepare kids for the future, their future. So we're updating it to give kids the tools they need to support positive mental health, develop real-life skills, and prepare for what's next. So they're ready to rise to every test, during school and after. Learn how the government is improving your child's educational journey at ontario.ca/education for tomorrow. Paid for by the Government of Ontario. Being an entrepreneur means finding partners who align with my business vision and my values. And with the help of BDC, I've succeeded in building a solid company that I can really be proud of. At BDC, being the only bank exclusively devoted to entrepreneurs means fully understanding our client's vision. So when we help you build your business, it's a business we can both be proud of.
Go further with BDC. BDC. Financing, advising, smarts.
It's time 9:21. Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Barb Andrews.
This report brought to you by Barty's Steakhouse. Looking at the eastbound QEW, approaching Burloak to Bronte, HOV lane is closed for construction. And then eastbound QEW, access to the eastbound 403, that is completely blocked for construction as well. If you're on the eastbound Gardner, minor bunch ups through Jarvis over to Cherry. You'll find the ramp from lower Jarvis to eastbound Gardner. It's partially blocked with a stalled vehicle. We do have crews on the scene. Northbound DVP, 404 in good shape. Northbound 400 through Rutherford, right lane is closed with construction. If you're on the southbound 400 through King Road, a left lane blocked with construction. Southbound 404 DVP, no recent troubles to pass along. Same story with the westbound Gardner. Westbound QEW through Winston Churchill, we do have a left lane blocked with construction. Eastbound 401 looks good. No major slowdowns at the moment to pass along. Same story with the westbound 401, but we do have some construction. Westbound 401 through Dixon Road, right lane is blocked with road work. Barty's Steakhouse is celebrating over 50 years of legendary steak experiences. Legendary wines, certified Angus beef, York Street north of front, minutes from the Scotiabank Arena. Your next report at 9:31 with the forecast. Here's Michelle Mackey.
We're holding on to that blustery wind overnight. That'll bring us a wind chill around -7 at the coldest part of the evening. The wet rain snow mix is going to taper off though. Sunday, some lake effect flurries on and off through the day. We'll see some sunshine too and a high of -1. Will be the nicer day of the weekend if you've got to do anything outside. Sunday's the day to do it. Monday, -1 and a Colorado low moves in the late day. That could bring us 5 to 10 centimeters of snow, depending on the track and the timing. We're still a bit too far out to know exactly when that's going to move in. By Tuesday afternoon, it's looking like that system moves out. But the temperatures, they stay around -1. Seasonal for this time of year is +1. Tonight's overnight low is -2.
Right now, downtown Toronto, 2 degrees, some light rain over at Pearson Airport. Similar conditions, and 2 degrees, feeling like -3. Remember, 680 News is the only radio station with a weather guarantee. Today's jackpot stands at $9,200. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, the latest on new details in the Honey and Barry Sherman case. 680 News time, 9:24.
Tis the season.
I don't see how you can have more details than knowing who did it and telling us you can't arrest them. They told us that.
All you have to do is take it out of the freezer. We've got delicious flaky cod that
That's Canada. They change the story all the time. At least in the U.S., they stick to the fucking bullshit story. Up here, it changes all the
Finally, something that won't cause any stress. Satisfying seafood in 20 minutes or less.
Celebrating 120 years of Highliner seafood. Catch us in the frozen aisle. Now you can listen to 680 News on your Sonos smart speaker, Amazon Echo, or any Google Chromecast-enabled device, like Google Home, with the free Radio Player Canada app.
In the car, tune in using Radio Player on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Radio Player Canada. It's where Canadian radio plays.
The Great Wall of China is not visible from space. That's a misconception. Another misconception is that Lazy Boy is all recliners. Yes, Lazy Boy has the most comfortable recliners, but also sofas, sectionals, love seats, fashionable Lazy Boy furniture and accessories for your living room, bedroom, and dining room, and designers who will consult at your home for free. The Great Wall isn't visible from space, and Lazy Boy is not all recliners. Surprise, it's Lazy Boy. Both for the toaster, both for the cereal, both for
What's Dad doing? Well, the BMO Cashback MasterCard gives him cashback on everything. So it's like BMO puts a bow on every purchase.
Now he's putting bows everywhere.
Bow on your report card.
I got a D in science.
There's always next term. A bow in the blender, a bow in the...
When your credit card puts a bow on every purchase, that's the BMO effect. Get the BMO Cashback MasterCard with no annual fee and get 5% cashback for your first 3 months. Apply now. Terms and conditions apply. Visit bmo.com/cashback for details.
Now for all the hour brought to you by the illusionist magic of the holidays. Some Christmas gifts leave you scratching your head and wondering, what were they thinking? 680's Irene Franklin has that story.
Who hasn't heard this commercial leading up to Christmas?
Chia. Chia Pet, the pottery that grows.
So have you ever been given a Chia Pet or something else along those lines? We went to the streets to find out. Monica had never heard of the Chia Pet, so what does she consider the weirdest thing she's ever got for Christmas?
Socks and underpants.
Mo's gift was a bit more on the unusual side.
Edible underwear. So one of them was it was a taco, a hard shell taco, a cheese bagel.
Helping people stick to my list, Irene Precklett, 680 News.
Christmas news at 25 minutes past every hour on 680 News.
680 News time 9:26. Now the 680 News Weekend Business Report.
I'm Richard Denton. 2020 is expected to bring a significant change to some employee salaries. The president of Hayes Canada, Rowan O'Grady, says a survey of more than 3,000 employers and employees indicates pay raises will be 3% for some.
A higher proportion of companies saying that they're going to offer a salary increase of 3% or more for 2020, more than we've seen in the previous 6 years in a row. I said really every year for the last 4 or 5 years that we thought that maybe this was the year that companies would start increasing salaries in a significant way, and I was wrong every year. But this year, finally, it's come through, and it's 34% of companies were planning on offering 3% or more, which I think is great news from a salary and earning point of view. That was probably the most surprising thing. And it was combined with simultaneously a lower proportion of companies saying that they were going to increase permanent headcount.
But O'Grady says the staff shortages of recent years will continue.
If you feel like your industry is suffering from a skills shortage, and 80% of companies said yes, they are. I actually thought, I wonder who the other 20% is, because I'm not aware of almost any industry that isn't suffering from a skill shortage in some way. We also asked, have you broken your own budget or salary guidelines to attract in hard to find skill sets? And over 60%.
When you can ask me what the fuck I do, and I can't tell you.
There is, however, what O'Grady says is almost a two-speed job market.
If you're working in the right areas, if you're a highly skilled individual, working in the right industries with the right skill set, you're probably feeling super confident. And if you're in a lower or unskilled role, maybe you're feeling a little bit worried. And it feels like that gap between those two populations is increasing.
Hayes Canada President Rowan O'Grady. In the Business Center, I'm Richard Detman.
What will your winter vacation sound like this year? Or wherever you're heading, be sure to pack CAA travel insurance. From helping you find the nearest hospital to paying emergency medical expenses up front, CAA travel insurance lets you travel worry-free.
What are they gonna do? Fucking arrest you when you try to leave the hospital without paying the bill? You think I can't find a fucking way home? What the fuck are you gonna do? You're gonna collect what?
And good days better. Terms and conditions apply. CAA travel insurance is underwritten by Orion Travel Insurance Company. Me and this F-150.
You're trying to charge me an ambulance bill that says if you're on disability, you don't have to pay this. Well, why the fuck did you send me an ambulance bill? It's covered by OHIP, separate from this. What the fuck is this? I got the letter. I posted it up
With the Centric Award for lowest cost to own in its class. Now during the fourth year end event, get up to $10,500 in rebates on select new 2019 F-150 models. Get the truck that's built for the long haul. Visit your local Ford store or Ford.ca.
Always get your results on paper from medical tests. Because if it wasn't for that $40 ambulance bill, I wouldn't know about my MRI result.
Sky and -9. And if you're headed south of the border, Boston and clear sky and 2 degrees. Right now downtown, 2 degrees and light rain. 680 News is CFTR AM Toronto. It's 9:30.
You ain't telling us nothing about this cocaine, buddy.
This is 680 News.
Good evening. This is Saturday, December 14th. I'm Eden Deveva.
And I'm Tim. Breaking news this hour.
Honey Sherman updated her will shortly before her and her husband were murdered. What does this mean for the billionaire murder case?
In what's become an annual move for the TTC.
Why didn't you give it away while you were alive, stupid? Maybe I'd care. No, I don't.
20 years left on the lease of a Queen West building. The St.
Drug
Patrick's Market
dealers.
is being handed
Drug
over
dealer
to the
down.
city. Missed rent and misleading upgrades, just some of the problems.
People in Connecticut are marking the 7-year anniversary of the Sandy Hook Massacre.
The Leafs' lead gets narrowed by the Edmonton Oilers on Hockey Night in Canada, and the Raptors are in a battle against the short-handed Nets down at Scotiabank Arena. Sports at 45.
And coming up in business, it's well known outside of the GTA, not so much inside, but that's about to change. We're taking a closer look at Farm Boys' Toronto expansion. 680 News Time, 9:31.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Barb Andrews.
And this report is brought to you by Shoppers Drug Mart, eastbound QEW from approaching Burloak to Bronte. We do have an HOV lane closed for construction, and then eastbound QEW ramp to eastbound 403, no access. It is blocked because of construction. Eastbound Gardner, you're going to find it busy as you make your way through Spadina to east of Jarvis. That's because of problems on the ramp from Lower Jarvis to eastbound Gardner. We have a stalled vehicle partially blocking that ramp, and we do have crews on the scene, so that's causing a distraction through there and that backup from about Spadina. If you are traveling along the northbound DVP 404 at last check, no recent troubles. Northbound 400 through Rutherford, a right lane blocked with construction. Southbound 400 through King Road, a left lane blocked with construction. If you are traveling along the southbound 404 DVP at last check, also moving very nicely. Looking at the westbound Gardner, no recent problems out of downtown. Westbound QEW through Winston Churchill, a left lane blocked with construction. Eastbound 401 moving well. Westbound 401 overall in pretty good shape. We do have some construction though. Westbound 401 through Thixon Road, you're going to find a right lane is blocked. Got PC Optimum points? Now's the time to redeem them. It's the bonus redemption event at Shoppers Drug Mart. Get more for your points now until December 16th. Your next report at 9:41 with the forecast. Here's Michelle Mackey.
A great night to stay inside. Now, if you are heading out to any holiday parties, you'll need to dress accordingly. The wind chill is dropping to -7. The good news, that wet snow mix we've been dealing with all day will taper off. Some lake effect flurries Sunday through the GTA with a high of only -1, but it will be the better day of the weekend. Tonight's overnight low is -2.
Right now, downtown Toronto, 2 degrees, some light rain over at Pearson Airport. Similar conditions, and 2 degrees, feeling like -3. 680 News Time, 9:32.
Since 2017, the country has been following along in the murder case of Barry and Honey Sherman.
New information has now been unveiled in connection to Honey's will. 680's James Mackin reports.
Honey Sherman, wife of billionaire Barry Sherman, updated her will roughly 3 weeks before she and her husband were murdered. This comes from the Toronto Star, who reported that an anonymous confidant of Honey's revealed this to Toronto police early in the investigation. This will was separate from Barry's, who had a will drafted in 2013 and updated in 2017. A few days after the birth of the Sherman's third grandchild, Honey met with the anonymous confidant and let them know she made amendments to her will. Not much information has been revealed about the case due to the Sherman family obtaining a court order to seal all related estate documents. The Toronto Star appealed the ruling and succeeded, and the Shermans will head to the Supreme Court in March of 2020 to attempt to keep the documents sealed. I'm James Mackin.
Are you fucking serious?
Time 9:34. With the new year approaching, the TTC has released.
And they want the House bulldozed too. That might have already happened.
Kenny and Sandy of City News has more on the upcoming changes.
Transit riders in the city can expect some adjustments to the system next year. The TTC's 2020 budget
They want to sell it. They want to bulldoze the house.
revealed some of their plans to increase fares and fight fare evasions and to better maintain the aging system. The total 2020 budget is $2.14 billion, an $84 million increase over last year. To find the funds, the TTC has proposed a 10-cent fare hike across the board, except in adult cash fares. The increase will generate $31.4 million, only recouping half of the total loss from fare evasions. The TTC
You don't know what the total losses are.
have more than doubled since 2018, from
They've never actually counted
to a
the
proposed
people
$48
getting on.
million
They've never
next
done
year.
that.
You're going to see a lot more people probably paying as they enter the subway system.
If approved, the fare hikes will come into effect in March, and we'll have much more from our
The
full
subway.
one-on-one year-end interview with TTC CEO Rick Leary in the
Did you
coming
say-
weeks.
I'll listen for the. They'll
The new
repeat
budget
it. I
is
know
set
they're
to
going to
total
repeat
around
it 6 fucking times.
$2.14 billion.
680 News Time, 9:35. It's been more than 2 years since Queen West's iconic St. Patrick's Market was packed with hungry patrons. 680's Cam Dort reports on this morning's court battle to restore the spots to its former glory.
The city has been trying for years to take back control of the St. Patrick's Market, citing poor management, missed rent, and even a video of a mouse sighting back in
Food share used to be
2017.
based on there, but back. It's the only washroom we could get into.
Now, despite efforts from Market Inc., the
And it was
operators of the
never
place,
messed
it appears
up,
the
so
city
fuck all you
has won
people.
the
It's
court
the
battle.
people
Councillor
with
Joe
money
Cressy
messing
led
up the
charge. He
washrooms,
says
I know it
there's no
is.
specific plans for the space immediately, but wants to keep it affordable.
It's more profitable to sell high-end jackets and cocktails than it is to sell local produce or local art. And so I think there's a real opportunity to bring food and culture back to Queen West.
Cressy says the lesson to be learned from the St. Patrick's Market saga is that public land must be put to better use from the beginning. I'm Cam Doritz.
680 News Time, 9:36. The City of Toronto has launched their largest and most significant water management program. The Don River and Central Waterfront and Connected Project will work to halt the flow of sewage into Lake Ontario. The 5-phase project includes 3 integrated tunnels, 12 wet weather flow storage shafts, and 7 offline storage tanks, racking up a total cost of roughly $3 billion. The first phase involves a 10.5-kilometer long tunnel, which will cost $400 million. Mayor John Tory says the entire construction process should take roughly 10 years.
Huh. Wow, thanks,
680
Mr.
News
Tory.
Time at 9:36. Some will be taking the holiday season to new highs this year with an uptick of people buying friends and family legal cannabis for Christmas. 680 Chef Slack reports on the new trend.
When did it
It's only
happen
been a
last
year
year,
since
bro?
cannabis has become legal, with some considering spreading holiday cheer one puff
We
at a time.
started there.
Stuart Ryan with the Hobo Cannabis Company says it's becoming a popular option for others to buy cannabis products as a Christmas gift.
I would say that, yeah, people are generally really interested in getting people what they want, I think, in this day and age.
With edibles set to become legal, we could start to see items similar to beer advent calendars.
They do already exist, and I think that as of next year, you'll probably see them come to fruition with a lot of different companies across the board.
But in buying cannabis as a gift for someone, Ryan warns that you need to do your research and make sure the product you pick isn't too strong to knock the holiday spirit out of them. I'm Jeff Slack.
680 News Time, 9:37. Today is the
smoke the
7-year
good
anniversary
stuff,
of the
smoke
Sandy
our
Hook
stuff.
Massacre.
That's
Vigils
better
and church
for you.
services have been held in Newtown, Connecticut in remembrance.
I'm saying don't drink liquor,
and 6
drink
teachers
beer.
were killed
What the
in the
fuck?
shooting. Governor Ned Lamont ordered all state and U.S. flags to fly at half-mast for the day throughout Connecticut. According to activist group Connecticut Against Gun Violence, more than 700,000 Americans have been killed or injured due to gun violence since the Sandy Hook Massacre, many of which are due to mass shootings.
Many of which, wait, hold on.
Police say an 18-year-old man's been charged after he allegedly sexually assaulted 2 women in the downtown core. Investigators say that between December 2nd and the 11th, 2 women were sexually assaulted in the area of Yonge and Gould Streets. In a news release, police confirmed that an arrest had been made in the case. The suspect has been identified as 18-year-old Jesse Daniel, who faces 2 counts of sexual assault. Police say they are concerned there may be additional victims who've not yet come forward. They're asking anyone with information to contact police or Crime Stoppers.
This is 680 News. Greta Thunberg, who was recently awarded Times Person of the Year, was in Italy today speaking to a group of young activists. The 16-year-old Swedish climate activist apologized to politicians after she said they should be, quote, put against the wall.
She apologized to the
She was making a
Italians?
literal translation from Swedish, which means to ask hard questions, and that she's against any form of violence. She also adds that the world leaders were avoiding their responsibilities to fight climate change. Thunberg is the youngest recipient to ever receive Times Person of the Year award.
Oh.
Still to come on 680 News, traffic and weather together on the ones, but first to check on the price of the pumps.
Just Google Mussolini and Tech9, and you will understand why I am laughing my ass off at Climate, Skipper, and all this shit they say.
90 days, a $500 winter tire credit, and an additional $500 off all on select models for Boxing Month. Visit MississaugaHyundai.com and RexdaleHyundai.ca. Hyundais don't fit down chimneys, so hurry in and see now. It's the slam dunk deal of the year. Boxing Month, all December long at Mississauga and Rexdale Hyundai. See dealer for details.
Now the 680 News gas price update. April predicts the price of gas will rise 1 cent at midnight to $1.16.9 a liter at most GTA stations. 680 News Time, 9:40.
Put us on and find out what to wear. The best weather reports in the city every time on 680 News. From the excitement of their first day to walking proudly across the graduation stage, school's the start of a journey that can take kids anywhere. Our education system needs to evolve to reflect this journey, to better prepare kids for the future and the jobs of the future. So we're making updates with a focus on positive mental health, technology, skilled trades,
Positive mental
so our
health.
kids are prepared to succeed.
Oh, skilled traits. That's going to help. Skilled at what? What the fuck do we produce here? What do you need to be skilled at?
Education for tomorrow.
You know how to make a latte? Because that's all you're going to get a job doing.
CAA gift membership for the holidays is kind of like saying,
Happy battery boost for when your car doesn't start.
wishing you peace, joy, and lots of restaurant savings.
Merry quick help with that flat tire.
Say happy holidays with a CAA gift membership and get peace of mind with 24/7 roadside assistance across
Why
North
do you think I
America.
buy shit like this and not the fucking... I need some guava and all this imported shit. Fuck your imports.
CAAgift.com.
And your plastic bottles.
Good, and good days better.
See the Maple Leaf?
680 News Time, 9:41. Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Barb Andrews.
This report is brought to you by City of Toronto. If you are traveling along the eastbound QEW, you want to keep in mind we do have some construction. Eastbound QEW approaching Burloak to Bronte, HOV lane is closed. And then eastbound QEW access to the eastbound 403, that is completely blocked for construction as well. If you are traveling along the eastbound Gardner, seeing delays from Spadina to east of Jarvis, we still have problems from the ramp, on the ramp from lower Jarvis to the eastbound Gardner. We do have a stalled vehicle partially blocking that ramp, and we do have crews on the scene as well, so it's causing a visual distraction on the Gardner, making your way through that area. Northbound 404 DVP in good shape. Northbound 400 through Rutherford, right lane blocked with construction. Southbound 400 through King Road, a left lane is blocked with construction. Southbound 404 DVP moving well. If you're on the westbound Gardner, last check, no recent troubles making your way out of downtown. Westbound QEW through Winston Churchill, we now have 2 left lanes blocked through there for construction. Looking at the eastbound 401, that's moving well. Westbound 401 also in pretty good shape. We do have some construction though. Westbound 401 through Thixton Road, looks like a right lane is blocked through there with construction. Heads up, Toronto, speed limits are being reduced across the city. Slow down, stay alert, and obey the signs. Learn more at toronto.ca/Vision Zero. Your next report at 9:51 now with the forecast. Here's Michelle Mackey.
Started with the rain, then it was the snow, then back to rain. It's just a really messy mix out there this evening, but it should taper off through the overnight and will drop to an overnight low of -2 with a wind chill of -7 because the wind's still quite blustery, and that will continue through the day tomorrow. A high of only -1 with some lake effect flurries. Late Monday, we're watching for a snowstorm to move in, 5 to 10 centimeters of snow. That could change depending on the track, and we're also watching the timing carefully here at 680 News. Tonight's overnight low is -2. Right now in downtown Toronto and over at Pearson Airport, overcast and 2 degrees. All Conservative voters wait to see who will replace Andrew Scheer as the leader of the federal party. The outgoing leader now facing his own set of questions.
Sources from the Star say that there are mixed feelings about the validity of this. One source from the member of the Conservative Fund says the payout to private schools in Ottawa was never disclosed, included, or mentioned, and the information was in fact held from them deliberately. A source who is said to have strong ties to Scheer and knows what he is thinking says this is not the case, and that the use of party funds was included in financial materials and sent to the board for approval. Scheer is apparently furious over these accusations. The controversy continues and could even lead to a legal proceeding in the near future. I'm Jordan Reed.
This is 680 News. Still to come, GTA stargazers are going to be in for quite the nighttime show this weekend. 680 News Time, 9:44.
Hey y'all, I'm David Duke, co-owner of Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in the GTA. I literally grew up in the steakhouse business, started washing dishes, and have done every job in the restaurant. I learned from the very best, Miss Ruth Patel, the founder of Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. I called her Aunt Ruth, and I promise you, my friend, that our steak broiled at 1800 degrees and served sizzling is the best steak that you'll ever have. And don't forget, as Lana says,
come hungry, darling.
It's your December Casino Rema Resort concert announcement. Honeymoon Suite in Prism, February 28th. Chilliwack and Streetheart on March 13th. Frankie Valley, March 21st and 22nd. April 10th and 11th with the Beach Boys. Melissa Etheridge, April 17th. Local legend Gordon Lightfoot performs April 18th. Illusionist Rick Thomas, April 24th. Charlie Pride on April 25th. And Ringo Starr and his all-star band, May 29th and 30th. Buy tickets now.
Motherfucker,
For more information at CasinoRama.com.
You're not gonna believe what's got me pissed off.
680 News.
Overcast and 3 degrees in downtown Toronto. Good evening.
This motherfucker's lighter skinned than me gets called black by the police for robbing a bank. Hold on a second. He's lighter than me, motherfucker.
Couple Barry and Honey Sherman has seen new developments this weekend. According to the Toronto Star, Confidant told Toronto police detectives that Honey made changes to her will just 3 weeks before she and her husband were murdered. And according to the 2020 operating budget, the TTC will be increasing fares for commuters. Adult Presto users will see a 10-cent bump, while monthly passes will cost an extra $5. Changes will come into effect on March 1st. And coming up after sports, how you can help give back to the community this holiday season. 680 News Time, 9:45. Now 680 Sports from Sportsnet. I'm Nani the Fan. Here's Show Ali.
Thanks, Ian. Well, the Oilers finally got on the board against the Leafs earlier in the third period, and Toronto just answered right back.
Timashov works in on the right wing, carries and stops at the half board, centering pass, shot, scores! Holy Mackinac, that goat has given the Leafs a 2-goal lead!
It's now 3-1 for the Leafs over the Oilers. Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph have the last few minutes right here on Sportsnet 590 The Fan. Will be followed shortly by Leafs Nation postgame with Nick Alberga and Gord Stellick. One last note on the Leafs game, defenseman Tyson Barrie was ruled out with an ankle injury. We'll keep you up to date on that going forward. Over at Scotiabank Arena between the Raptors and the Nets is currently 101-93 Raptors in the fourth quarter, as Pascal Siakam and Norm Powell have combined for 50 points so far. And the early slate of NHL games are wrapping up, including a 2-1 Red Wings win over the Canadiens, Capitals beating the Lightning 5-2, and a 4-2 win for the Bruins over the Panthers. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime on the home of Tim and Sid, Sportsnet 590 The Fan.
680 News Time, 9:47.
The holidays snuck up on you. You're looking for a little extra money to make it all happen. Call or click to prudentfinancial.net. Since 1984, Prudent has been there when you needed a loan, even with a lower credit score. Even when you're self-employed, a past bankrupt, you're in a proposal. Prudent puts the equity in your car or home to work for you. Loans up to $35,000 same day. Holiday money is a call or click away at prudentfinancial.net. prudentfinancial.net.
You're too depressed to work, and your insurance company ignores your doctor's opinion and denies your long-term disability claim. Sound familiar? My name is Aaron Waxman, and if your disability claim has been denied for any reason, call me at 416-661-4878. And don't worry about upfront legal fees, because there are none. At my law firm, my team of lawyers only get paid when you get paid. And before you call, you should always remember that there are no bad questions. 416-661-4878 or on your cell phone at pound LTD.
You're listening to All News Radio 680 News. According to new reports, 435 people have been overdosing on opioids in the first 3 months of the year. Public Health Ontario posted new numbers showing a 40% increase in overdose deaths from the same time last year. The tragedy unfortunately continues, that comment coming from Ontario's chief coroner. His sentiment also echoed by the chief medical officer of health, who warned of an increase in Centerville in city streets. Almost 1,500 people died from opioid-related overdoses in Ontario last year alone. The province passed legislation on Wednesday allowing them to join a class action lawsuit led by British Columbia. The suit alleges that pharmaceutical companies that made the drug falsely advertised that they weren't as addictive as other painkillers. The NDP mental health and addictions critic commented, saying, quote, "They have to declare a public state of emergency and start learning to harm reduction workers on the ground." 680 News Time, 9:44. Police say 2 New York City officers shot and wounded a man wielding an imitation firearm in the Bronx.
The man is in critical condition. NYPD Chief of Patrol Fausto Pichardo says a reported being approached by a man on the street who pointed a gun at him. A photo on the NYPD's Twitter account shows a knife attached to where a gun's barrel would be, almost like a smaller version of a homemade bayonet.
The officers ordered the suspect to show them his hands when he pointed the weapon towards the officers. 2 uniformed officers discharged their weapons striking the suspect in the torso.
Police say while the imitation gun looked real, it was not functional. Except for the knife, the shooting was captured on body camera. Julie Walker, New York.
The Salvation Army is hoping the giving spirit will start to ramp up as we inch closer to the holidays. This year's fundraising goal for the annual Christmas Kill campaign is $3 million, and so far they've raised just over $1 million. New this year, Major Rob Kerr tells us you can tap your debit or credit card to make a donation.
Our pilot project is doing well. We've got almost 800 taps so far this year on that new technology. Just over $7,000 raised.
He says they are hopeful more donations will come in as people wrap up their holiday shopping. Coming up in 60 seconds, traffic and weather together on the ones. 680 News Time, 9:50.
It's day 6 of Staples 12 Days of Gifting. Every day, a new gift for someone special at a one-day only price. Today, December 14th, is for Road Warriors. Get them a powerful MacBook Pro so that they can go anywhere a great idea takes them. Save up to $200 on the MacBook Pro and other select MacBooks. Today only, in-store and at staples.ca. Payment plan options available. See an in-store associate for details. Staples. Gifts that get them. Giving someone a CAA gift membership for the holidays is kind of like saying,
happy battery boost for when your car doesn't start.
Wishing you peace, joy, and lots of restaurant savings.
Merry quick help with that flat tire.
Say happy holidays with a CAA gift membership and give peace of mind with 24/7 roadside assistance across North America, plus great savings on shopping, dining, and more. Buy a gift membership by January 5th and get a $10 gift card. Details at CAAgift.com. CAA, making bad days good and good days better.
680 News Time, 9:51. Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Barb Andrews.
This report is brought to you by Salvation Army. If you're traveling along the westbound 401 through Thixton Road, you're going to find the right lane blocked with construction. And then hearing about some new troubles, westbound 401 as you merge onto the westbound 403, we have a left lane blocked, emergency crews on the scene, so only the right lane is squeezing by through that. Otherwise, 401 eastbound looks good. Looking at the northbound 400 through Rutherford, the right lane is blocked with construction. Southbound 400 through King Road, a left lane blocked with construction. Looking at the southbound 404 DVP, at last check, lightly traveled. No recent troubles to pass along. Same story with the westbound Gardner, moving well out of downtown. Westbound QEW through Winston Churchill, 2 left lanes are blocked with construction. Eastbound QEW approaching Burloak to Bronte, we have construction through there in the HOV lane. And then eastbound QEW to the eastbound 403, that is completely blocked for construction as well. Eastbound Gardner, some delays as you make your way from Spadina to east of Jarvis. Looks like we still have troubles on the ramp from lower Jarvis to eastbound Gardner, a stalled vehicle partially blocking at that ramp. We do have crews on the scene, and that's causing a bit of a visual distraction through there. Wildfires in Fort McMurray, flooding in Ottawa, or an empty dinner table at Christmas. The Salvation Army will be there because everyone needs an army. Donate this holiday season at salvationarmy.ca. Your next report at 10:01 with the forecast. Here's Michelle Mackey.
My suggestion tonight, just stay inside, cozy in. It's pretty miserable outside. We have that gusty north wind. That's going to give us a wind chill of -7. Lingering flurries as we move into tomorrow. On and off through the day. We could see some sunshine in the afternoon, though. That's the good news. Regardless, it is going to be the nicest day of the weekend. If you need to put up any outdoor decorations, just make sure you secure them down. Sunday will be another windy day. Monday, watching for the arrival of a Colorado low late day. It could bring us around 5, even 10 centimeters of snow, depending on the track. Tuesday afternoon, that system moves out, but the temperatures remain below seasonal once again at -1. Tonight's overnight low is -2. Right now in downtown Toronto and over at Pearson Airport, overcast 3 degrees, but feeling more like -2 with the wind chill.
This extended forecast is brought to you by Walmart.
Walmart's rolling back prices on thousands of items from toys to electronics, including brand names like Keurig, KitchenAid, Hot Wheels, and Barbie. Hurry, the rollback event is on now at Walmart.
Coming up at 10 o'clock, new developments have been revealed in the 2017 murder of billionaire couple Barry and Honey Sherman. 680 News Time, 9:54.
The winter sales event is on at Mercedes-Benz Durham. with exclusive offers on 2020 and remaining 2019 models.
This
Financing from
motherfucker. Oh, I got more
0.9%,
weed. Thank
cash
God.
credits up to $20,000, and 3 payments waived on select models. And existing Mercedes-Benz customers receive up to an additional 2% lease or finance rate reduction. Mercedes-Benz Durham, 2019 Star Dealer.
So the camera is actually a fucking high def, whatever, blah, blah, blah camera. It's the uplink speed. So when I show you shit like this, I know you don't really see much, but that little piece got me that little thing. I don't know, I guess I'll roll a bigger one out of this thing.
Get more chances to win each month and vacation better with Subway.
Enter in December for your chance to win an all-inclusive vacation for two at the Grand Memories Splash in Punta Cana.
Located near Bavaro Beach with one of the largest water parks, you can enjoy excitement and relaxation with 24-hour room service and 7 enormous water slides.
The 680 News weather guarantee with Sunwing at the Grand Memories Splash
at 680news.com.
You're listening to All News Radio 680 News. Coming up in just 60 seconds, our weekend business report. 680 News time, 9:55.
Me and this F-150, we are in it for the long haul.
Oh yeah? What about costs like insurance, maintenance, fuel?
No problem. It just won an award for lowest cost to own in its class, 5th year in a row.
Wow, sounds like you really love your truck.
Yeah.
Get the Ford F-150, the truck with the Vincentric Award for lowest cost to own in its class. Now during the 4th year end event, get up to $10,500 in rebates on select new 2019 F-150 models. Get the truck that's built for the long haul. Visit your local Ford store or Ford.ca.
Deck the walls with pizza, 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 za. Ordering, we'd love to treat you. Pizza, pizza, za. With hot and rich pizza before us. Grab a slice and join the chorus. Pizza, pizza, za.
Get 2 medium 2-topping pizzas, 4 drinks, and a box of chocolate truffles for just $24.99. Happy your holidays from Pizza Pizza.
9, 6, 7, 11, 11. Order pizza, pizza.ca.
680 News time, 9:56. Now time for the 680 News Weekend Business Report.
I'm Richard Southern. It's a popular grocery store outside of Toronto, inside the city.
How much did they pay
not
for
a
all
lot of
this
people know
news
about it.
coverage?
They soon will. We're talking about Farm Boy. It's kind of Ontario's answer to Trader Joe's. If you've been to that U.S. food retailer, a lot of ready-to-eat food. This past week, Farm Boy announced an expansion in Toronto. Robert Carter is food expert at Stratton Hunter.
Farm Boy can be best described, I would say, as a Whole Foods style grocery store, which focuses on a lot of the fresh, local grown produce, but a price point that's much more attractive than a Whole Foods would be.
It still seems kind of pricey to me, though, as you often see with ready-to-eat food, though, Robert.
Yes, Farm Boy has a great selection of ready-to-eat meals, along with their fresh, butchers and their fresh produce and whatnot. So the price point is a little bit higher than the traditional grocery stores overall, but consumers seem to be responding, and the growth of Farm Boy has been dramatic over the last number of years. And it's really these niche-type grocery store concepts that are driving the growth in today's grocery market.
We know it's owned by Empire, the parent company of Sobeys. Any idea why they wouldn't want to, say, open a smaller format Sobeys as opposed to a Farm Boy in these particular areas downtown?
Well, Farm Boy is one of those brands that has just really come out strong from the gate, and it's
like paying 3 times the price for everything.
A number of key consumer trends. So, for Sobeys to continue to push that Farm Boy brand, which is very underdeveloped, only really in the Eastern Ontario market, there's a lot of runway for this brand. So I think it's a good strategic positioning for Sobeys to continue to focus on Farm Boy and expand that brand.
That's Robert Carter, food expert at Stratton Hunter, and at the Business Center, I'm Richard Southern.
Happy holidays, everyone! It's Megan, Chief Play Officer at Toys R Us. Have you ever seen 20,000 toys all in one place? At Toys R Us, you'll find anything and everything that kids like me could wish for.
Was it a Sobeys fucking name and fucking damn
all LOL supplies. Because hey, the only thing better than one awesome toy is
the security guard follows you around and literally leans over your shoulder. Literally will lean over you while you're trying to look at stuff. I bought like a pack of bologna and an apple. The fucking cashier goes, "Oh, don't break the bank." It's like, this is why people don't shop in your store, right?
For the best appliance
She was mad that I got out of there for $1.39. You're not supposed to be able to do that.
On all Eco appliances.
Yep, that's 25% off on top of manufacturer rebates and promotions. Pricing on most Bosch dishwashers
He's
are lower
probably
than
dead or at least unemployed. So I don't give a
Energy
fuck.
savings rebate by the government of Canada.
I ain't seen that
Visit
security guard anywhere
gomez.com
else.
for details.
Now, 680 News regional weather conditions for Shoppers Drug Mart. Got PC Optimum points?
Yeah,
Now's
work
the time to
yourself out
redeem
of a
them. It's
job.
the bonus redemption event at Shoppers Drug Mart. Get more for your points now until December 16th.
In Markham, light flurry is 1 degree. Mississauga
Really?
is also snowing and 1. In
It's
Richmond
snowing
Hill,
now,
forecast to 1
motherfucker.
degree, and right now in downtown Toronto, overcast and 3 degrees. This is CFTR 680 News, part of the free Radio Player Canada app. 680 News time, 10 o'clock.
Number 1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is 680 News, Toronto.
Good evening. This is Saturday, December the 14th. I'm Tim Chapman.
And I'm Eden Dada. Here's what's making news this hour.
New details emerge in the Sherman murder case as an anonymous source comes forward and reveals that Honey Sherman updated her will shortly before her death.
The city wins the court battle to take back St. Patrick's Market. The lease on the historic Queen West building is terminated despite 20 years left on the contract.
The city of Toronto launches a brand new multi-billion-dollar water management project, the largest in its history.
TTC prices taking another hike. The new budget forecasting a 10-cent fare increase.
The Leafs wrap up the road trip with a win, and the Raptors get back on track down at Scotiabank Arena. Sports at 15.
And coming up in business, a young Canadian entrepreneur has developed a system to help make life easier for cannabis retailers, and the company is already seeing growth.
680 News time, 10:01.
Please, brother, tell me how to do
Together on the
this.
waters, here's Barb Andrews.
How much money do I have to give
Toronto
you?
area
Tell me
Ford
how to do
dealers, westbound 401 through Thixton Road. We have a right lane blocked with construction. And then westbound 401 ramp to the westbound 403. We did have problems there. A stalled vehicle in the left lane that just got cleared out of the way. So all lanes are open on that ramp. Looking at the eastbound 401, that is moving well. Southbound 400.
The city doesn't give a fuck about anything except keep the traffic moving.
DVP at last check lightly traveled, no recent trouble. Same story with the westbound Gardner. Westbound QEW through Winston Churchill have a couple of left lanes blocked with construction through there. If you're on the eastbound QEW approaching Burloak to Bronte, the HOV lane is blocked with construction, and then eastbound
How come I can't find nothing about
the
this
ramp
sewer
to
thing
eastbound
on there?
403, that ramp is completely closed for construction. Eastbound Gardner, some delays heading through Spadina to east of Jarvis. We did have a stalled vehicle on the ramp from lower Jarvis to eastbound Gardner. That has been cleared. And looking at the northbound DVP 404 at last check, no recent troubles. Northbound 400 through Rutherford, a right lane is blocked with construction. Get up to $10,500 in rebates on select new 2019 F-150 models at the Ford year-end event. Visit Ford.ca for more details. Your next report at 10:11 with the forecast. Michelle Mackey.
A great night to cozy in. The wet snow mix will taper off overnight with a wind chill around -7. But the wind will stick around, gusting 40 to 50 kilometers an hour out of the west tomorrow. Some lake effect flurries Sunday with a high of only -1. Regardless, it will be the nicer day of the weekend for any outdoor chores or activities. Tonight's overnight low is -2. Right now in downtown Toronto, overcast 3 degrees, and over at Pearson Airport, cloudy and 2. 680 News time, 10:03.
The death in 2017. There's been limited information in the Sherman murder case.
Interesting information has now been released surrounding the will of Honey Sherman. 680's James Mackin has more on the story.
There's been an update in the Sherman case. The Toronto Star reports that Honey Sherman had a will separate from her husband Barry, according to a close friend of Honey's who wishes to remain anonymous. According to the anonymous friend, they met roughly 3 weeks before the Shermans were murdered, where Honey confided that she recently updated her will. Limited information about the Sherman estate is known to the public due to a pending appeal to the Supreme Court of Canada by the family's estate trustees. The estate trustees head to the Supreme Court in March of 2020.
The trustees
a spokesperson
are
for the Toronto Homicide Squad wouldn't comment, as the case is an active, ongoing investigation. I'm James Mackin. It was once a place to grab some grub with good friends in a vibrant part of Toronto. Now, the city's looking to revive the St. Patrick's Market after winning a court battle to terminate the lease on the Queen West space.
The building has a lane on each side and an alleyway and a park, while all fucking 4 sides of this building is drug
Accusations of missed rent, misleading upgrades, and mice all contributed to the market closing. Councillor Joe Cressy says he and the public will try and honor
the original intention of the space.
We know that in this increasingly unaffordable city, arts and culture is being driven out. Access to good quality food and food markets is harder and harder to come by. And so we're going to start a public process working with the local neighborhood in the city to reimagine this space for the future.
Market Inc. is the company giving up the lease despite 20 years left on it.
I typed in Toronto sewers.
Cressy assures the space won't
They
just
came
go
back
to
with
high
things to
spirits.
do
They
in
want
Toronto
market
for
to support the
locals.
arts
I think they
and the
just told me to go
I'm Cam Doran.
eat shit.
680 News Time, 10:04. City officials have launched Toronto's largest storm water management program today. The initiative aims to stop the flow of sewage into Lake Ontario and clean up the waterways. The first phase will see a 10.5-kilometer-long tunnel built at a cost of $400 million. The overall project expected to cost $3 billion. Mayor Tory says when a major storm hits our city, the wastewater system goes into overdrive to prevent major flooding. He adds that as water rushes in, the system often overflows, which pushes excess waste into Lake Ontario.
680 News Time, 10:05. Now that Andrew Scheer stepped down from the Conservative leadership, the race is on to find his replacement.
Whoever the next leader is going to somehow be someone who inspires a vision for the future. With Andrew Scheer stepping down as the leader of the federal Conservatives, the list is long for his potential replacement. A name that seems to be holding a lot of support is Rona Ambrose, a former minister of the Harper government and previous interim leader of the Conservatives. She kept the party afloat from 2015 until 2017 during its search for a new leader. She has both been an ally of social conservatives and takes those views seriously. But she also has been progressive, particularly on the fiscal side of things. Another Harper-era minister's name that's been tossed around is Peter MacKay. He shot down speculation during the federal election that he was vying for Scheer's job, but openly showed disappointment in the party for failing to defeat Trudeau's Liberals. From Edmonton, Cheryl Tasascu, City News.
In the wake of Andrew Scheer's resignation, the party is now facing many questions. Reports say Scheer is now facing an internal audit over his use of party funds, apparently used to cover the private school tuition cost for his children.
Two sources told the Star that the Conservative Fund Board and those close to Scheer have very conflicting stories. One source that is said to have direct knowledge with Scheer and knows what he is thinking says Scheer is furious over the accusations and that the suggested tuition used to cover private schools for his 5 children was in fact included in financial materials that were sent to the board for approval. And on the other side, a source from the Conservative Fund says this is not the case, that the tuition expense was deliberately withheld from the board and its members. The issue has called for public infighting and a possible legal proceeding could soon follow. I'm Jordan Breed.
680 News Time, 10:07. If the TTC gets its way, you'll be paying an additional 10 cents to ride the Red Rocket in 2020. That's according to its operating budget released to the public yesterday, which says the fare increase would come into effect on March 1st. Under the proposal, adult cash fares would not change, but adult Presto card fares would rise to $3.20. Senior and youth Presto fares would also increase 10 cents across the board, while the monthly adult Presto pass would spike to $5. Lynn Howell, Toronto, says an increase like this would only further strain the pockets of students who struggle to keep up with the cost of living.
They currently are complaining that the cost of living, especially housing, is getting to the point where they cannot afford to actually be in the city. And this is going to impact, ultimately, our ability to recruit the best students in Canada who are not going to be able to afford to live in the city itself.
City Council has the final vote on the matter. The proposed fare changes follow a similar 10-cent increase at the beginning of this year.
680 News Time, 10:08. The Christmas tree might not be the only thing lit this year, as legal cannabis presents seem to be on the rise. As 680's Jeff Slack reports, many people are considering gifting cannabis this holiday season.
It could be a stocking stuffer or a full-blown gift, as Stuart Ryan with Hobo Cannabis says legal weed is starting to become a part of the holiday season.
I think it's a really exciting
time
for
talk us
the
into
cannabis
that.
industry to see that this is
Because this
kind
would
of
have
the
happened
new
last
wave
year.
for people. I know
If that was
that a
gonna
lot of
happen.
people are eager to open up their stocking on Christmas morning and hopefully find some cannabis treats in there.
With edibles hitting the shelves soon, Ryan believes cannabis advent calendars will start to become as popular as the ones marketed for beer. If you do plan to buy someone cannabis as a gift and
I
are
didn't even know
inexperienced,
that
Ryan says
existed,
it's best
bro.
to ask an employee
How much
or
what do you
purchase
mean
a
an
gift
advent
card.
calendar
I'm
for
Jeff
beer?
Slack.
Still to come.
I guess it's 24 in a case, right?
The price of gas is headed at midnight, followed by traffic and weather together on the ones.
680 News Time 10:09.
Why pay more? Switch your current alarm system to the Monitoring Center today and take advantage of our wholesale monitoring rates starting as low as $9.99 per month. Call for your free quotation. Thank the Monitoring Center for your home security. Switch your alarm system to the Monitoring Center today and save. Think security? Think the Monitoring Center. Why? Because we care.
1-866-24-7 or $9.99. 1-866-24-7 or $9.99.
Now the 680 News gas price update, and Bro predicts the price will rise 1 cent at midnight to $1.16.9 cents a liter at most GTA stations.
680 News Time 10:10.
We wish you a healthy Christmas. We wish you a healthy Christmas. We wish you a healthy Christmas and a smoke-free New Year. Don't let smoking stop you from achieving your New Year's goals. Use Nicoderm and Nicorette combination therapy to help you conquer your cravings.
So I can eat fucking formaldehyde all fucking day.
While Nicorette provides fast relief of breakthrough cravings. So now, nothing else will mingle with your holiday jingle. Available at Shoppers Drug Mart. To be sure these products are right for you, always read and follow the label.
This is what?
Making your smart speaker
One smarter.
Alexa, play 680 News.
Playing 680 News.
In winter, Canadians have a saying. Only a hoser brings a toque to a poutine kerfuffle. A toque! Oh, sorry. Not everything we say in Canada makes sense. Luckily at Ford Service, we have a saying that does. The Works Service Package is everything you need to get winter ready. More than an oil and filter change, it includes a vehicle report card, 83-point inspection, and tire rotation. Right on! Book your appointment for the Works for only $89.99. See participating Ford stores for details.
680 News Time 10:11. Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Barb Andrews.
This report is brought to you by Shen Yun. If you are in the eastbound QEW, approaching Burloak to Bronte, HOV lane is closed for construction, and then access to the eastbound 403 from the eastbound QEW, that is completely closed because of construction. Still seeing some delays if you're on the eastbound Gardner, heading through Spadina to east of Jarvis, following troubles from the ramp from lower Jarvis onto the eastbound Gardner. They've been cleared out of the way. Looking at the northbound DVP 404, lightly traveled northbound 400 through Rutherford, construction in the right lane. Southbound 400 through King Road, a left lane is blocked with construction. Southbound 404 DVP also moving well. No recent troubles to pass along. If you're on the westbound Gardner, last check, lightly traveled. No major delays heading out of downtown. We do have some construction on the westbound QEW through Winston Churchill. A couple of left lanes are blocked through there. Looking at the eastbound 401 moving well. Westbound 401 through Dixon Road have a right lane blocked with construction, and earlier troubles westbound 401 ramp to westbound 403 have been cleared. Sold out every year. Shen Yun returns to Hamilton, Mississauga, and Toronto December 30th. Celebrate the new year with beauty, energy, and wisdom. Tickets at shenyun.com. Your next report at 10:21 with the forecast, Michelle Mackey.
We had our guaranteed high of 3 degrees at Pearson around 3 a.m. this morning, and temperatures have steadily dropped through the day. It's blustery tonight as well, with winds gusting over 30 kilometers an hour, bringing us a wind chill of -7 and another blustery day tomorrow. Periods of lake effect flurries, some peaks of sunshine, and a below seasonal high of only -1. And then late Monday, we're watching for a Colorado low that could bring us 5 to 10 centimeters of snow. We'll continue to watch that one here at 680 News. Tonight's overnight low is -2.
Right now, downtown Toronto, 3 degrees, some light rain over at Pearson Airport, similar conditions, and 2 degrees. Observers say there are still huge obstacles to overcome at extended climate talks in Madrid. Officials from almost 200 countries say some new text drafted overnight risk backtracking on commitments made in the 2015 Paris Climate Accord. The Union of Concerned Scientists says it's not happy with the current climate change proposals. Climate policy specialists say the urgent warnings are that greenhouse gas emissions need to fall sharply and soon to keep global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius by the end of the century. 680 News Time at 10:13. A list of your top stories and sports next.
Love your music, love your headphones. And at Bay Blue Radio, you get to try them on. Bay Blue Radio's got the best of the best. From Bose, Bowers & Wilkins, Sennheiser, and Sony. In-ear, over-ear, noise canceling, and true wireless. From $50 to over $1,000. Try them on with your own music. And let our headphone experts help you choose the right ones.
There's only one Bay Blue Radio. The right sound for the right price.
RedTag.ca. Looking for the best winter vacation deals? Save big with RedTag.ca on destinations in the Caribbean, Mexico, or even Europe. Plus, enjoy savings on cruise getaways. Book your trip now and pay for it using our monthly payment plan. And get air miles, reward miles on vacation packages. More travel, more savings. Plan your winter getaway today. Some restrictions apply. RedTag.ca. This is All News Radio, 680 News.
It's 3 degrees with some light rain. Good evening from the 680 News Broadcast Center in downtown Toronto. I'm Tim Chapman. Here are the top stories this hour. Honey Sherman updated her will 3 weeks before her and her husband Barry were murdered. Apparently, Honey disclosed this to a confidant prior to the murder, which is a new detail in a mysterious case. The TTC releasing its new budget, which outlines a 10-cent price hike on the horizon, leaving riders frustrated as fares climb year after year. And coming up after sports, details on a Christmas tree thief south of the border. 680 News Time, 10:15. Now 680 Sports from Sportsnet 590 The Fan. Here's Shoa Lee.
Thanks, Tim. It was a close game through 2 periods for the Leafs in Edmonton, but in the end, Toronto prevailed in front of a very friendly away crowd.
Freddie, they're chanting here in Edmonton.
The Leafs win 4-1 behind Frederik Andersen's 36 saves. They return to Toronto having won 3 of their last 4 games, and they do lose defenseman Tyson Barrie to an ankle injury after he blocked a shot in the first period. His status for Tuesday's game versus the Buffalo Sabres is still up in the air. The Raptors got back on track with a win as well, taking down the visiting Brooklyn Nets 110-102 at Scotiabank Arena. Pascal Siakam led the way with 30 points and 10 rebounds in Siakam's 9th game of the season with 30-plus points. He had 5 such games in his entire career before this season, and it was a busy Saturday night in the NHL. The Red Wings knocked off the Canadiens by a final of 2-1. The Capitals bottling up the Lightning 5-2, and the Bruins handled the Panthers 4-2 down in Florida. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or any time on the home of Tim and Sid, Sportsnet 590 The Fan.
680 News Time, 10:16.
My mojo ain't working. My mojo is down. My mojo ain't working. It's wearing a frown. I got them ED blues, baby. I get no loving every night.
Don't let your performance keep you down. Talk to Revita Medical. They've helped over 1.2 million guys worldwide. Visit revitamedical.ca and say goodbye to the ED blues.
I ain't got nothing.
Everyone is talking about the hit musical sensation Come From Away. It's a true story. Thousands of people stranded in a small town in Newfoundland on 9/11, and the locals, they opened up their homes. What happened that week, the kindness, the resilience, the joy reminds us all what it is to be human. Come From Away, the perfect gift for the holidays. Get tickets at Mirvish.com.
680 News Time at 10:17. New York City is now paying $625,000 to resolve a lawsuit filed by a mother whose toddler was yanked from her arms by police in a widely seen online video. Julie Walker from the Associated Press has that story.
In the viral video, you can hear Jasmine Headley screaming, "You're hurting my son," as several police officers are seen pulling her 18-month-old out of her arms after they responded to a call about a dispute with a security guard at a city social services office. Headley says she was sitting on the floor with her baby because all the seats were taken and she refused to stand. She spent 4 days in jail before the DA dropped the charges.
Can't force you to stand. You can occupy the space you occupy. They can't force you to do anything in that space.
The U.S. Supreme Court to uphold the state's abortion ban.
Mississippi's lone abortion clinic sued the state after Governor Phil Bryant signed the law, which bans abortion once the pregnancy reaches 15 weeks. Friday, a federal appeals court ruled the ban unconstitutional. In a tweet, Bryant promises the state will now take the case to the Supreme Court. Bryant leaves office in January to be succeeded by Lieutenant Governor Tate Reeves, a fellow Republican and abortion opponent. Supporters of the Mississippi ban and those like it in other states have been aiming for the Supreme Court all along, hoping its new conservative justices will take up cases that lead to the overturning of the 1973 Roe v. Wade ruling that legalized abortion nationwide. Ben Thomas, Washington.
680 News Time, 10:19. The province's opioid use is in the spotlight again after a new report from Public Health Ontario. New data shows opioid overdoses accounted for 435 deaths during the first 3 months of 2019. That's a 40% increase in overdose deaths from the same time last year. Ontario's chief coroner says the data underscores the severity of the issue, partially blaming tainted street drugs as one of the number of factors contributing to the problem. Just under 1,500 people died from opioid-related overdoses
They
last
weren't dying
year.
of the fentanyl overdoses when they were getting oxy from the
There's
doctor.
a Grinch on the loose in Washington State. A Christmas tree farm awoke to find the trees they were growing gone.
The Snowshoe Evergreen Tree Farm had already closed for the season, but the owners found that didn't stop someone from cutting down and taking 78 Fraser firs, some of them as big as 9 feet tall.
They're not going to haul that many trees out by hand.
Police have arrested a suspect saying he stole a truck, a cargo trailer, and a fifth wheel to take the trees. Jerome O'Leary is furious.
They stole Christmases from 78 families.
55 of the trees have been recovered. Jeff Pogela, ABC News, Seattle.
Coming up, traffic and weather
No, they
together
stole
on the
money
line.
from
680
you. Don't
News Time,
fucking get it
10:20.
twisted.
Okay,
You didn't go to
For the
whatever
best
houses and
deal
fucking
ever,
steal
come into
it.
Gomez today. You'll save up to
What a way to fucking try
25%
to
on
make
all
people feel
Eco
bad.
appliances. Yep, that's 25% off on top of manufacturer rebates and promotions. Pricing on most Bosch dishwashers are lower than, well, they've ever been. Energy savings rebate by the Government of Canada. Visit Gomez.com for details.
Tis the season of doing and seeing and frosting, and highliner knows all that is exhausting. So dinner is covered, and it's a crowd pleaser. All you have to do is take it out of the freezer. We've got delicious, flaky cod that everyone craves, heavenly haddock that no pumpkin upstage, and a captain that keeps getting better with age. Finally, something that won't cause any stress. Satisfying seafood in 20 minutes or less.
Celebrating 120 years of Highliner seafood. Catch us in the frozen aisle.
680 News Time, 10:21. Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Barb Andrews.
This report is brought to you by Barty's Steakhouse. And new problems on the eastbound 401 through Leslie and the Collectors. We have a right lane blocked with a stalled vehicle. We do have a tow truck on the scene. Not really causing a delay, though, as you make your way through there. Just a heads up if that's your route where you're heading. Westbound 401 through Thixon Road, we have a right lane blocked with construction. Northbound 400 through Rutherford, a right lane is blocked with construction. Southbound 400 through King Road, a left lane is closed with construction through there. If you are traveling along the southbound 404 DVP, at last check, lightly traveled, no recent problems. Same story with the westbound Gardner, making your way out of downtown. Westbound QEW through Winston Churchill, a couple of left lanes blocked through there with construction. On the eastbound side of the QEW, approaching Burloak to Bronte, HOV lane is closed. And then no access from the eastbound QEW to the eastbound 403. That is completely closed for construction. Still seeing some delays eastbound Gardner as you head through the to east of Jarvis, northbound 404. Lightly traveled, no recent problems to pass along. Keel, north of Tustin, it's down to a single lane in both directions. That's for construction. Barty's Steakhouse, where Toronto's athletes celebrate victory even before Toronto won their last cup. Reserve at bartys.com. Your next report at 10:31 with the forecast. Here's Michelle Mackey.
We're holding on to that blustery wind overnight. That'll bring us a wind chill around -7 at the coldest part of the evening. The wet rain snow mix is going to taper off, though. Sunday, some lake effect flurries on and off through the day. We'll see some sunshine, too, and a high of -1. It will be the nicer day of the weekend if you've got to do anything outside. Sunday's the day to do it. Monday, -1, and a Colorado low moves in the late day. That could bring us 5 to 10 centimeters of snow, depending on the track and the timing. We're still a bit too far out to know exactly when that's going to move in. By Tuesday afternoon, it's looking like that system moves out. But the temperatures, they stay around -1. Seasonal for this time of year is +1. Tonight's overnight low is -2.
Right now, downtown Toronto, 3 degrees and light rain over at Pearson Airport. Similar conditions, and 2, the wind chill making that more like -4. Remember, 680 News is the only radio station with a weather guarantee. Today's jackpot stands at $9,200. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, the latest on new details in the case of murdered billionaire couple Honey and Barry Sherman. 680 News Time, 10:23.
This deal is only for CAA members.
Get a welcome bonus of up to 75 CAA dollars with the National Bank CAA Rewards MasterCard credit card. Plus, CAA members earn up to 2% in CAA dollars on eligible purchases. Whether you're planning a trip or doing holiday shopping, you'll want a credit card with practical rewards to save you money. This is a limited time offer, so apply today at CAAMastercard.com and start earning more every day. Shh. Terms and conditions apply.
This is your weather station, 680 News. Every day, Canadians are buying homes and getting the wrong mortgage rates. Important announcement. If you have a mortgage closing in the next 60 days, 2.38% 5-year fixed mortgage rates are available at butlermortgage.ca. No matter what you were told or what you signed, you can still switch to 2.38% 5-year fixed. No gimmicks, no fees. Standard mortgages at 2.38% 5-year fixed. To learn if you qualify, go to butlermortgage.ca now. License number 12118. High ratio fixed rate. APR 2.39%.
Happy holidays, everyone! It's Megan, Chief Play Officer at Toys R Us. Have you ever seen 20,000 toys all in one place? At Toys R Us, you'll find anything and everything that kids like me could wish for. Right now, you can buy one, get one 50% off on all LOL Surprise. Because hey, the only thing better than one awesome toy is 2 awesome toys. You can also save 25% off all games, $19.99, and some exceptions apply. Visit your closest Toys R Us store or go to toysrus.ca.
Now for all Christmas news at 25 past the hour, brought to you by the Scott Mission. The Salvation Army needs your help reaching their fundraising goal for their annual Christmas Kettle campaign. Major Rob Kerr tells us this year they're hoping to raise $3 million.
We're just over $1 million as of December 11th, so we're short. We know that the last 10 days are the big push. It's when we're going to get the majority of the donations from folks as they finish their Christmas shopping and that type of thing. But it is a bit of concern. We're about $200,000 behind last year.
He says there's still plenty of time to visit a kettle and make your donation. And new this year in the city is a pilot project available at some locations that allows you to tap your cards for a quick cashless donation.
Christmas news at 25 minutes past every hour on 680 News.
680 News time 10:26. Now the 680 News Weekend Business Report.
I'm Chris McCusker. Taking cannabis into retail stores has been bumpy in Canada, to say the least. Ontario right now has 25 stores for a population of more than 14 million. In Alberta, there are 400 stores for about
14 million
4 million.
motherfuckers up there. I thought it was
Plus,
12.
cannabis retailers are required to follow a number of rules and regulations. That's where Green Line Point of Sale comes in. Albert Kim is the CEO.
The government wants stores to track everything about their cannabis inventory. How many do you have at any given time? Where have the products moved? Do you have a front and back store separation? Where are the products living in your store? Have you lost any product? And all of that information really needs to be compiled in a very specific way. And that process could take stores hours every single month. And our system actually automates that with a one-click compliance reporting feature.
And this software keeps an eye on something else.
Federal government imposes 30-gram carry limits for cannabis. So with our system, we'll have blocks so that even as a store associate, you don't need to do the math in your head to know how much you're legally allowed to sell.
Now, you're just 26 years old, so how did you come up with this?
I'm from Vancouver, so back in 2017 when I was learning about the cannabis market,
you don't have to do math to sell weed for us. That's
actually have other entrepreneurs, and so in my head, the retailers were really the ones that were pushing the boundaries, that were paving the way for legalization. That's something I wanted to support. And as soon as we saw that it worked, that we were solving real problems, we decided to dream bigger. We started off with maybe 10 customers. And now we have over 100 across Canada.
Albert Kim is the CEO at Green Line Point of Sale. And at the Business Center, I'm Chris McCusker.
There's a reason you look people in the eyes when you shake their hand. A reason you don't like being late for meetings and hate missing deadlines. It's why you put your customers first and pick your partners wisely. Because you know, in business, reputation is everything. Trust your reputation to FedEx for all of your international shipping needs. Express, ground, and freight.
Visit FedEx.ca/reason. FedEx, connecting people and possibilities.
From finger painting to times tables, schools have started a journey that can take kids anywhere. Our education system needs to evolve to reflect this journey, to prepare kids for the future.
You don't have to know
So we're updating
how
it
much
to
you're
give kids the
legally
tools
allowed
they
to
need
sell.
to support positive mental health, develop real life skills, and prepare
They don't
for what's
pack
next,
it any
so
larger.
they're ready to rise
They
to
don't-
every test, during school and after. Learn how the government is improving your child's educational journey at ontario.ca/education for tomorrow. Paid for by the Government of Ontario. It's time for the 680 News Business Travelers Forecast, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz Newmarket. Right now, enjoy savings on 2019 and 2020 models at Mercedes-Benz Newmarket, with rates from 0.49% and 3-month payment waivers.
Now with a look at your business travelers forecast in Vancouver, mostly cloudy, 3 degrees. The nation's capital, a clear sky and -9. Montreal, partly cloudy, -7. And if you're headed south of the border, Orlando, a clear sky and 18. Miami, partly cloudy and 24. New York City, clear and 4 degrees. Right now, downtown Toronto, 3 degrees, some light rain, feeling more like -2. 680 News is CFTR AM Toronto. It's 10:30.
Number 1 for news in Toronto. This is 680 News.
Good evening. This is Saturday, December the 14th. I'm Eden Dvaba.
And I'm Tim Chapman. Here's what's making news this hour. Honey Sherman updated her will shortly before her and her husband were murdered. What does this mean for the billionaire murder case? The city wins the court battle to take back St. Patrick's Market. The lease on the historic Queen House building is terminated despite 20 years left on the contract.
The city is moving forward with a $3 billion project aimed at improving the water quality of Lake Ontario.
That's what I was trying to
Combine
find out,
the
and it's
Christmas
not on the
spirit
internet.
with
3
comedy
million.
at
Thank you.
Hotel X all the way through the Christmas season.
The Leafs come back to Toronto with a winning road trip record, and the Raptors close out the Nets at Scotiabank Arena.
10
Sports
kilometers, 10
45.
years,
And coming up
3
in
billion.
business, Canadians are being
No,
encouraged
that's
to game
Toronto
on.
talk.
We'll hear
It's
from
gonna
an
be
expert on the
10 billion.
benefits of esports in our education system and how it's creating new career opportunities. 680 News Time, 10:31.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Barb Andrews.
And this report is brought to you by Nikon Canada. Eastbound 401 approaching Weston in the express, hearing about a collision there blocking right lane. We do have tow trucks on the scene. Eastbound 401 through Leslie and the collectors. We did have a stalled vehicle on the right lane that just got cleared out of the way. If you're on the westbound 401 through Thixon, we do have construction in the right lane. Traveling along the, let's look at the southbound 404 DVP. That continues to be a light drive. No recent problems. Westbound Gardner looks good out of downtown. Westbound QEW through Winston Churchill, a couple left lanes blocked with construction through there. Toronto-bound QEW as you make your way into Grimsby, just east of Bartlett, looks like a collision there. Emergency crews only like a right side, maybe getting by. Traffic jamming up through there. Then eastbound QEW approaching Burloak to Bronte, HOV lane is closed, and no access from the eastbound QEW to the eastbound 403. That's for construction. Eastbound Gardner still a bit slow, heading through Spadina on and off to past Jarvis. Northbound DVP 404, pretty good shape. And northbound 400 through Rutherford, we do have a right lane blocked with construction. Need gift ideas for the holidays? How about a Nikon DSLR camera or lenses? Right now, save up to $800 during the Capture the Savings event at your local Nikon authorized dealer. Your next report at 10:41 with the forecast, Michelle Mackey.
A great night to stay inside. Now, if you are heading out to any holiday parties, you'll need to dress accordingly. The wind chill is dropping to -7. The good news, that wet snow mix we've been dealing with all day will taper off. Some lake effect flurries Sunday through the GTA with a high of only -1, but it will be the better day of the weekend. Tonight's overnight low is -2.
Right now, downtown Toronto, 3 degrees with some light rain over at Pearson Airport. Similar conditions, 2 degrees, feeling more like -4. 680 News Time, 10:32.
New developments have been made in the unsolved murder of Barry and Honey Sherman.
After 2 years, new updates have now been released centering around changes to Honey's will. With more details, here's 680's James Mackey.
New details have emerged in the case of murdered billionaire couple Barry and Honey Sherman. According to the Toronto Star, a confidant of Honey's told police detectives that Mrs. Sherman had made changes to her will 3 weeks before her and her husband were murdered. It's an interesting detail considering friends and family were unable to find a will belonging to Honey after the couple were found dead in their home of December of 2017.
Little information has been made public surrounding the 2-year investigation, and information surrounding the Sherman estate is sealed to the Supreme Court of Canada. Toronto Homicide failed to comment when asked about any new revelations in the case last week. I'm James Mackin.
This is 680 News. If you've done
Like
any
$5
shopping
billion
on
or
Queen
something.
recently, you might have noticed it. A once popular market
Appetites.
boarded up and covered in graffiti.
Drug
680's
dealers.
Cam Dort reports on the city's new plans for the St. Patrick's Market.
The building has had its fair share of problems, from missed rent payments to poor upkeep, and even a video that showed mice crawling all over the baked goods back in 2017.
Free food for mouse. Free baklava for mouses.
They gotta shut this place down, bro. It appears the place did shut down a year later, despite the owner saying significant upgrades were made. Councillor Joe Cressy says it's become an eyesore in a vibrant neighborhood.
For that reason, we instigated a court case to terminate the lease to return the land to the city, and we won. And what that means is that
Who had the
this
fucking
critical
lease?
piece of historic and beautiful real estate will be reimagined and used for the public once again.
The owner, Market Inc., is losing 20 years on the lease because of the decision from the courts. I've reached out to the group, but have yet to hear anything back. I'm Cam Dorrance. 680 News Time, 10:34. The City of Toronto has launched a $3 billion project to clean up Lake Ontario and the city's waterways. According to the CBC, the first phase of the project will cost $400 million, will begin in the new year and should wrap up by 2024. It's a significant stormwater management program focusing on the Don River and Central Waterfront. Mayor Tory hopes the project will give the city a fighting chance against increasingly common episodes of flooding.
This is 680 News. An Ontario family is asking for help after 19 puppies went missing. They were allegedly stolen from a barn north of Guelph shortly after the owner listed them for sale online. The puppies were all 10 weeks old and included a variety of Labradoodle mixes. The majority of the puppies were Black Lab Shepherd-Doodle mixes, as well as some
Freaking
Golden
dogs to
Doodles.
steal, man.
Anyone with information is encouraged to contact local police so that these puppies can return home.
680 News Time, 10:35. An arson investigation has led to police identifying a woman found dead inside a Rexdale home last week. 61-year-old Yvonne Bachelor-Vassell was pulled from a burning home on Stallion Place, located near Highway 27 and Rexdale Boulevard, just before 9:30 p.m. Police deemed the fire to be suspicious, and a suspect was later arrested at an area hospital after the fire. The accused has been identified as Joe Vassell, who's believed to be the son of the victim. Investigators are still waiting for final reports from the Office of the Fire Marshal and the results from a post-mortem exam.
680 News Time, 10:36. As the federal Conservative Party faces questions about the future, outgoing leader Andrew Scheer isn't out of the hot seat just yet. As 680's Jordan Reed explains, there are reports Scheer is now facing an internal audit in wake of his use of party funds to cover private school costs for his 5 children.
One source said that it has direct contact with Scheer and knows exactly what he's thinking. The source says the tuition used to cover the cost for his 5 children's private school was in fact included in the financial materials that was sent to the board for approval. Now, another source from the members of the Conservative Fund says that the tuition expense was actually held deliberately, and the indictment will show this. When Scheer resigned in the House of Commons, his wife Jill was tearful in the audience, and the Conservative caucus gave him a standing ovation. I'm Jordan Reed.
680 News Time, 10:37. A 2-car crash in Scarborough has sent 2 people to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
As a result of the collision, one car did catch fire. All the occupants were out of the vehicle. We closed down some roads.
Toronto Police Constable Laura Brabant says the call came in just before 2 o'clock at Kennedy Road in Fox's Drive.
680 News Time, 10:37. A rally against cuts to education with a musical twist took place today at Dundas Square. The rally was organized by Ontario Education Workers United. A group of students, parents, and teachers started to march along downtown streets while singing songs in defense of fully funded public education. The afternoon march came as contract talks between the 4 major teachers' unions and the government remained at a standstill. Meanwhile, Ontario high school teachers plan to stage a 3rd one-day walkout on Wednesday. At 680news.com for a list of school boards affected by the strike.
680 News Time, 10:38. There are all kinds of ways to get into the Christmas spirit if you still need a boost, and one starting tonight will get you laughing as well. Our Jeff Rahoman is here with the details.
The Second City's Improv Showdown, an all-ages comedy show, has taken over Hotel X, running shows until January 5th. Fun for the whole family, according to Reed Janice, the director of Improv Showdown.
It's a competitive improv show. Two teams face off, and it's a bunch of improv games and songs and scenes. And we split the audience up into two different teams, and they compete against each other to win the coveted Improv Showdown Cup. It's a different show every single time.
Hotel X is also going to start showing classic Christmas movies for the holiday season, like Elf and A Christmas Story. If you want to check out the Improv Showdown, tickets are $20 for adults, $15 for kids. Get them through Eventbrite. I'm Jeff Homan.
Still to come on 680 News, traffic and weather together on the ones.
680 News Time, 10:39.
It's a beautiful time of year. Stop and appreciate how fortunate we are. Thank you so much to our customers for helping us grow since 1963. I'm Dominic Finucci, and on behalf of all of us at Pizza Nova, buon Natale a tutti.
Now the 680 News gas price update. Enpro predicts the price of gas will rise 1 cent at midnight to $1.16.9 a liter at most GTA stations. 680 News Time, 1040.
One rose from the streets of Paris to become an international star. The other was a German aristocrat who became Hollywood's first glamour queen. Their private lives were as theatrical as their public performances. This new musical biography stars Louise Piaf as Edith Piaf and Jane Lewis as Marlene Dietrich. Piaf Dietrich, now playing at the CAA Theater until January 5th. Tickets at Mervish.com.
First and fast.
Breaking news when it happens on 680 News.
First, your disability insurer denies your long-term disability claim, and then your employer threatens to fire you if you don't return to work. Sound familiar? My name is Aaron Waxman, and if your disability insurer denies your disability claim for any reason, or if your employer threatens to fire you because you're too sick to work, call me at 416-661-4878. And don't worry about upfront legal fees, because there are none. At my law firm, we only get paid when you get paid. And before you call, you should always remember that there are no bad questions. 416-661-4878, or on your cell phone at pound LTD.
680 News Time, 1041. Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Barb Andrews.
Now, this report is brought to you by ADT Security Services Canada. Eastbound 401, you're going to find some delays now as you make your way towards Weston in the Express. It's where we have a collision blocking the right lane. We do have a tow truck on the scene. Outside of that, eastbound 401 moving well. Same story with the westbound 401. We do have some construction though. Westbound 401 Thixon Road, right lane blocked with construction. Looking at the eastbound QEW, first off, Toronto-bound QEW towards Grimsby, hearing of a collision just east of Bartlett. Looks like a couple of right lanes are blocked through there with emergency crews. Then eastbound QEW approaching Burloak to Bronte, HOV lane is closed. And then there's no access from the eastbound QEW to the eastbound 403. That's all closed for construction. Eastbound Gardner, last check, some delays east of Spadina to about Jarvis. Northbound DVP 404 in good shape. Northbound 400 through Rutherford, right lane is blocked with construction. If you're on the southbound 400 through King Road, left lane is blocked with construction through there. And southbound 404 DVP, that's moving well as you make your way down onto the Gardner, heading westbound. That looks good out of downtown. And westbound QEW through Winston Churchill, we do have a couple of left lanes blocked with construction causing delays. And Kiel is down to a single lane in both directions north of Teston, and that's for construction. Whether you're out shopping or visiting family this season, let ADT by TELUS Smart Home Security keep an eye on your home or business. Visit adt.ca to learn more. Your next report at 10:51. Now with the forecast, here's Michelle Mackey.
Started with the rain, then it was the snow, then back to rain. It's just a really messy mix out there this evening, but it should taper off through the overnight and will drop to an overnight low of -2 with a wind chill of -7 because the wind's still quite blustery, and that will continue through the day tomorrow. A high of only -1 with some lake effect flurries. Late Monday, we're watching for a snowstorm to move in, 5 to 10 centimeters of snow. That could change depending on the track, and we're also watching the timing carefully here at 680 News. Tonight's overnight low is -2. Right now in downtown Toronto, overcast 3 degrees, but feeling more like -3 with the wind chill. And at Pearson Airport, cloudy 2 degrees, but feeling like -3. Still to come on 680 News, 2 New York City officers are under fire after shooting a man with an imitation firearm. 680 News time, 10:43.
Ooh, the imitation fire. That's why you don't carry fake
Some
guns.
bargains have to be seen to be believed. When you see Sunwing's best beach bargains, you'll believe one thing. These beach bargains are unbelievably good. Book your all-inclusive winter beach holiday and vacation better with our best price guarantee. But hurry, our best beach bargains will be around for less time than you bargained for. Book by December 20th with your travel agent or Sunwing.ca.
Henry's massive Boxing Week sale starts next week. Henry's, Canada's greatest camera store, will have huge savings on camera gear and accessories for photographers, videographers, and content creators. At Henry's, they always guarantee the best price with their won't be beat price policy. Their camera experts can help you with whatever you need, whether you're just getting started or if you're a seasoned pro. Visit henrys.com for more information or to find a store closest to you. Henry's, Canada's greatest camera store.
This is All News Radio, 680 News.
It's overcast and 3 degrees in downtown Toronto. Good evening. From the 680 News Broadcast Center, I'm Eden DeBeva, and here are the top stories this hour. The murder case of billionaire couple Barry and Honey Sherman has seen new developments this weekend. According to the Toronto Star, a confidant told Toronto police detectives that Honey made changes to her will just 3 weeks before she and her husband were murdered. And according to the 2020 operating budget, the TTC will be increasing fares for commuters. Adult Presto users will see a 10-cent bump, while monthly passes will cost an extra $5. Changes will come into effect on March 1st. And coming up after sports, climate talks are being extended in Madrid after lackluster progress on the 2015 Paris Accords. 680 News Time, 10:45. Now 680 Sports from Sportsnet 590 The Fan. Here's Show Ali.
Thanks, Ian. Well, the Leafs got some scoring from their bottom lines in their 4-1 win over the Oilers, and even though they won, Captain John Tavares is already looking ahead to what's next.
We took care of business this week and turn the page and get ready for some tough games coming up here, especially I think heading into the Christmas break. We want to make the most of the remaining games we have and really go in there rolling.
The Leafs are at home to take on the Buffalo Sabres on Tuesday. The Raptors were in a battle with the shorthanded Brooklyn Nets down at Scotiabank Arena, but still plowed out a 110-102 win. Pascal Siakam had 30 points and 10 rebounds for Toronto in the win, his 9th game of 30-plus points this season. Some finals in the NHL, the Flames get blanked 4-0 by the Hurricanes. The Canadiens lose 2-1 to the Red Wings, and the Bruins knock off the Panthers 4-2 in Florida. The late games have also gotten started. The Sharks are up 1-0 on the Canucks. You can catch that one on CBC and Sportsnet. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime on the home of Tim and Sid, Sportsnet 590 The Fan.
680 News Time, 10:46.
From the excitement of their first day to walking proudly across the graduation stage, school's the start of a journey that can take kids anywhere. Our education system needs to evolve to reflect this journey, to better prepare kids for the future and the jobs of the future. So we're making updates with a focus on positive mental health, technology, skilled trades, and math, so our kids are prepared to succeed every step of the way. Learn how the government is improving your child's educational journey at ontario.ca/education for tomorrow. Paid for by the Government of Ontario.
The hottest show from Miami Beach is coming to Falls View Casino. Conga, live, February 4th to 10th at Niagara Falls View Casino. With a huge cast of dancers and singers, plus a rock and salsa band, this full-scale production leads its way through some of the greatest dance hits of all time. Visit FallsViewCasinoResort.com for tickets. Conga, live, February 4th to 10th at Niagara Falls View Casino.
I'm not sure which market you're going
You're
after,
listening
buddy.
to All News
Wow.
Radio 680 News. The federal government is going to allow cannabis vaping products despite not having tested the potential health effects. According to the CBC, cannabis vapes are among a series of new products, including edibles and extracts that can be legally sold nationwide as of Tuesday. Health Canada says it's
This
tested cannabis
Tuesday,
vaping
next
liquids,
Tuesday.
but not the vapor emitted when those compounds are heated. The release comes amid an outbreak of vaping-associated lung illnesses and deaths across North America. This is 680 News at 10:48. It's one of the best annual chances for GTA Space Junkies to lay eyes on a shooting star. A very special meteor shower will be at its peak this weekend. 680's Alex Bloomfield is here with some viewing tips.
Night sky like shooting stars.
The problem this year, besides potentially cloudy weather, the moon. It should get a 2-minute minor for interference. The full moon was Thursday, meaning the night sky will be bright this weekend, coinciding with the peak of the Geminids, likely making them harder to see. Your best bet is to head out in the early evening or a couple hours before sunrise when the moon is lower in the sky. For even better viewing, get away from the light pollution of the GTA. The Geminids are caused by Earth passing through the debris field of an asteroid. The cosmic event gets its name because it appears like the streaks of light originate from the Gemini constellation in the night sky. At its peak this weekend, over 140 meteors per hour can be seen. You might still be able to spot one until the 17th. I'm Alex Bloomfield.
UN climate talks in Madrid are being extended after new text suggests that countries are backtracking from the 2015 Paris Accords.
Critics say the texts also don't reflect the urgent warnings from scientists that greenhouse gas emissions need to fall sharply and quickly. Jennifer Morgan of Greenpeace International says to put the climate change proposal in place would be a betrayal of people around the world.
Suffering from the impacts and those that are calling for action. The Chilean presidency had one job: protect the integrity of the Paris Agreement and not allow it to be torn apart by cynicism and greed.
Chilean officials presiding over the talks say they plan to propose a compromise. From the Canadian Press, I'm Roger Ward.
As we near the end of the decade, YouTube is breaking down the songs we couldn't get enough of.
Oh, no. We're going to skip that. I'm not listening to it. You're going to tell me I want to listen to it. Get the fuck out of here.
For the long haul.
Oh yeah? What about costs like insurance, maintenance, fuel?
No problem. It just won an award for lowest cost to own in its class, 5th year in a row.
Wow, sounds like you really love your truck.
Yeah.
Get the Ford F-150, the truck with the Vincentric Award for lowest cost to own in its class. Now during the Ford year-end event, get up to $10,500 in rebates on select new 2019 F-150 models. Get the truck that's built for the long haul. Visit your local Ford store or Ford.ca.
As a homeowner, you have built-up equity value in your home. With Capital Direct, equity equals flexibility for homeowners. Flexibility to finance your business, flexibility to renovate your home, or flexibility to pay off other things like property taxes. Call Capital Direct at 1-800-NEW-CAPITAL. .ca. 96% of existing Capital Direct's clients surveyed would recommend Capital Direct to family, friends, or colleagues.
680 News Time, 10:51. Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Barb Andrews.
This report is brought to you by Mandarin. Eastbound 401, you'll find it slow from about Kipling to approaching Weston in the Express. Looks like we still have a collision blocking the right lane. Tow truck on the scene. Otherwise, eastbound 401 in good shape. Westbound 401 also moving well. We do have some construction through Thixon Road in the right lane, but not really causing a backup or anything through there. If you are traveling along the eastbound QEW, first off Toronto-bound QEW east of Bartlett, that's heading towards Grimsby. We had an earlier vehicle fire. Emergency crews on the scene. Looks like a right lane is still blocked through there. And then eastbound QEW approaching Burloak to Bronte, HOV lane is closed. And eastbound QEW to eastbound 403 completely closed for construction. Eastbound Gardner still seeing minor delays, making your way from Jarvis over to Cherry. Northbound DVP 404 looks good. Same story with the southbound side on the 404 DVP and the westbound Gardner, no recent problems. Westbound QEW, you will find it slow from about to Air Mills Parkway over to Winston Churchill. 2 left lanes blocked through there with construction. And looking at the southbound 400 through King Road, a left lane blocked with construction. Northbound 400 through Rutherford, a right lane closed through there for construction. Mandarin makes it easy for you. Mandarin offers fast, delicious takeout or delivery in designated areas. Visit mandarinrestaurant.com for a takeout menu and make it Mandarin to go. Your next report at 11:01 with the forecasters Michelle Mackey.
My suggestion tonight, just stay inside, cozy in. It's pretty miserable outside. We have that gusty north wind. That's going to give us a wind chill of -7. Lingering flurries as we move into
Oh, the
tomorrow.
royal family does
On and off
Christmas.
through the day. We could
I
see some
read the
sunshine
entire
in the
internet.
afternoon, though.
I'll
That's
get
the
to
good
this.
news.
The royal
Regardless,
family.
it is going to be the nicest day of the weekend. If you need to put up any outdoor decorations, just make sure you secure them down. Sunday will be another windy day. Monday, watching for the arrival of a Colorado low late day. It could bring us around 5, even 10 centimeters of snow, depending on the track. Tuesday afternoon, that system moves out, but the temperatures
go
will
to
remain
church
below
if you're the head
seasonal
of the
once
church?
again
That's-
at -1. Tonight's overnight low is -2. Right now in downtown Toronto, overcast 3 degrees, but feeling like -3 with the wind chill, and at Pearson Airport, cloudy 2 degrees, but feeling like -3.
This extended forecast is brought to you by Walmart.
Walmart is opening all checkouts from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. every Saturday and Sunday until Christmas. Save time on your holiday shop as you check out Walmart's unbeatable low prices.
Coming up at 11 o'clock, details on new information released surrounding the murder of billionaire couple Barry and Honey Sherman. 680 News Time, 10:54.
Devastating wildfires in Fort McMurray. Extreme flooding in Ottawa. An empty kitchen table at Christmas. We'll be there because everyone needs an army. Donate this holiday season at salvationarmy.ca.
Road closures, festivals, events.
When you need to know what's happening this weekend,
We've got you covered.
this is 680 News.
North Korea says it's performed another successful test at its long-range rocket launch site.
North Korea's Academy of
Got
Defense
two rockets
Science
in
says
my
what it
pocket.
describes as a crucial test was the second carried out at the Sohae satellite launching ground in a week. Separately, the chief of the Army's general staff states North Korea has built up tremendous power, and the findings will be used to develop new weapons to allow the country to definitely and reliably counter U.S. nuclear threats. Analysts see the statements as an indication that tests likely involve technologies to improve intercontinental ballistic missiles that could potentially reach the U.S. North Korea has been trying to pressure the Trump administration for major concessions as Kim Jong-un's end-of-year deadline for nuclear negotiations approaches. Ben Thomas, Washington.
680 News Time, 10:55.
At Rogers, a new year means new possibilities for your business. When you choose business-grade wireless solutions, right now, get iPhone XR 64 gig, featuring a 6.1-inch Liquid Retina LCD display for just $0 on a 3-year business share plan. With Rogers, you get the technology, expertise, and support your business deserves. Don't miss out. Visit Rogers.com/plans-for-biz now. Rogers, make doing business on the go possible.
Oh, fuck you.
I'm Adam, founder of NewBorrow.com, and I started our company after I got fed up with
What
the mortgage
is the
loan
royal
process.
skits in the public?
Turns out
fucking
I wasn't
sore
alone.
asshole.
Thousands of homeowners wanted help.
They went above and beyond to help me get a line of credit. It was amazing service.
They treated me like a valued client and outperformed anyone I spoke to. Want to lower your mortgage payments and save a little money?
Use your home to get a loan with New Borrow. Visit newborrow.com. License 13115.
680 News Time, 10:56. Now time for the 680 News Weekend Business Report.
I'm Carl Garnash. Canada is putting more focus on esports. And some experts are pointing out it's more than just video games, it's actually opening up new career opportunities. Katina Popolkas, education strategist for Canada at Dell Technologies, says the industry continues to grow right here in the country.
This is a form of entertainment, it's a form of fun. Not only can they be watching it for entertainment, they can participate, they can communicate, collaborate, those global competencies that we really want to focus upon with our kids. This is all part of 21st century skills and development as we go forward in the future. It's not about what you know, but it's the competencies that you have, because the way that technology is changing everything in our world. By having these competencies, we can prepare our students for everything, and esports really does support those competencies.
When it comes to the younger generation, the education system is actually turning to esports. Popolkas says some Canadian colleges offer a diploma.
The focus is around the marketing and business type courses, as well as creation. So it's not just about consumption, but it's about media creation, understanding that not only are we doing broadcasting as in traditional sports, but they're doing showcasting, so they're creating all kinds of media where they're getting an incredible number of views and really promoting
Entire
the sport.
downfall of the
Some of those
human
programs
race is going
include
to be
video game
stored on
creation,
fucking
which
YouTube.
can help Canada grow as a tech hub.
A lot of those kids who are playing games are also coding the games. They do go together. And so this is also a great way that we can really make sure that we're filling the jobs that are happening in Canada where we need coders. We need people to know how to do this. And if they can do it through video game play and really have that understanding and design behind it, game-based learning, this is where it's all at.
Katina Popolkis is the education strategist for Canada at Dell Technologies. At the Business Center, I'm Carl Garnish.
Happy holidays, everyone! It's Megan, Chief Play Officer at Toys R Us.
Sometimes I learn a whole lot and I feel like I know that. Like, I feel stupid
At
for
Toys
reading
R Us,
it.
you'll find anything and everything that kids like me could wish for. Right now, you can buy one, get one 50% off on all LOL surprise. Because hey, the only thing better than one awesome toy is two awesome toys. You can also save 25% off all games, $19.99 and up. Some exceptions apply. Visit your closest Toys R Us store or go to toysrus.ca.
Calling all CAA members, you can earn 20% more Petro points when you link your Petro points card to your CAA membership card. Don't forget, you can also exchange your Petro points for CAA dollars, which can be redeemed towards your CAA membership renewal, gifting a membership, booking your vacation with CAA travel, purchasing movie and attraction tickets, and more. Visit caasco.com/Petro points and start earning more today.
Now, 680 News regional weather conditions for Shoppers Drug Mart. Got PC Optimum points? Now's the time to redeem them. It's the bonus redemption event at Shoppers Drug Mart. Get more for your points now until December 16th.
In Brampton, overcast 1 degree. Mississauga, light flurries and 1 degree as well. St. Catharines seeing some rain, 2 degrees. And right now in downtown Toronto, overcast 3 degrees, but feeling more like -3. This is CFTR 680 News, part of the free Radio Player Canada app. The app works with a connected dashboard and with smart speakers, including Amazon Echo and Sonos. Download the free app today. It's where Canadian radio plays. At the single tone, 680 News time, 1 o'clock.
Number one for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is 680 News, Toronto.
Good evening. This is Saturday, December the 14th. I'm Tim Chapman.
And I'm Eden Tabella. Here's what's making news this hour.
Now I can read
New information has been revealed in the Sherman murder case. Honey had a will separate from her husband, Barry. Another annual price hike scheduled for GTC fares, which
yeah,
could be
you
10
die
cents more
separately, eh?
expensive by March.
Usually wins the court battle to end a 20-year lease on the St. Patrick's Market. The work now starts to make the once popular Queen West meeting spot popular again.
A new multi-billion-dollar project could be giving us some much-needed support for increasingly common floods.
The Leafs win their 7th in a row versus the Oilers, while the Raptors get back on track with a win against the Nets. Sports at 15.
And coming up in business, it's adapt and thrive in the ever-changing world of retail. We'll hear how one brand is making same-day delivery a priority for the holiday sales season.
680 News Time, 11:01.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Barb Andrews.
This report brought to you by Hamilton International Airport. If you're on the eastbound 401, some delays making towards your way towards Weston in the express. We did have a collision in the right lane that just cleared out of the way, so all lanes are open. And eastbound 401, a nice drive. Westbound 401, some construction through Thixon Road in the right lane, but not causing any delays. Westbound 401 looks pretty good as well. If you are traveling along the eastbound QEW, Toronto-bound QEW approaching Grimsby, just east of Bartlett. We had an earlier vehicle fire through there. Looks like that has cleared and lanes are open. Then eastbound QEW approaching Burloak to Bronte HOV lane is closed. And eastbound QEW ramp to eastbound 403 is closed as well for construction. Eastbound Gardner, some delays, Jarvis to Cherry. Northbound DVP, just seeing some minor bunch ups as you make your way north of Eastern over to Bloor. Otherwise, northbound DVP 404 looks good. Same story with the southbound 404 DVP. Westbound Gardner moving well out of downtown. And westbound QEW, the slow drive, Erin Mills Parkway over to Winston Churchill. Have a couple left lanes blocked through there with construction. Enjoy the savings when you fly nonstop to Orlando, Tampa Bay, or Fort Lauderdale from Hamilton International Airport, your low-cost airport. Your next report at 11:11 with the forecast. Michelle Mackey.
A great
Low
night to
cost.
come in.
That was
The
not
West
my
Hill mix will
consideration
taper
for
off
an
overnight with a
airport,
wind
eh?
chill around -7.
Holy.
But the wind will stick around, gusting 40 to 50 kilometers an hour out of the west tomorrow. Some lake effect flurries Sunday with a high of only
Enough money for a
-1.
plane. You want a
Regardless, it will be the
low-cost
nicer day
airport.
of the weekend for any outdoor chores or activities. Tonight's overnight low is -2. Right now in downtown Toronto, overcast 3 degrees, but feeling more like -3 with the wind chill. And up here near Airport, cloudy 2 degrees, but feeling like -2. 680 News Time, 11:03.
Since 2017, the country's been following along in the murder case of Barry and Honey Sherman.
New information has now been unveiled in connection to Honey's will. 680's James Mackin reports.
Honey Sherman, wife of billionaire Barry Sherman,
It's going to
updated
turn
her
out
will
to be a
roughly 3
drug
weeks
deal.
before she and her husband were murdered.
Just know
This
it.
comes from the Toronto Star, who report that an anonymous confidant of Honey's revealed this to Toronto police early in the investigation. This will was separate from Barry's, who had a will drafted in 2013 and updated in 2017. A few days after the birth of the Sherman's third grandchild, Honey met with the anonymous confidant and let them know she made amendments to her will. Not much information has been revealed about the case due to the Sherman family obtaining a court order to seal all related estate documents. The Toronto Star appealed the ruling and succeeded, and the Shermans will head to the Supreme Court in March of 2020 to attempt to keep the documents sealed. I'm James Mackin.
680 News Time, 11:04. With the new year approaching, the TTC's released their new budget proposal for 2020. TVS Danny of City News has more on the upcoming changes.
Transit riders in the city can expect some adjustments to the system next year. The TTC's 2020 budget proposal released late yesterday reveals some of their plans to increase fares and fight fare evasions and to better maintain the aging system. The total 2020 budget is $2.14 billion, an $84 million increase over last year. To find the funds, the TTC has proposed a 10-cent fare hike across the board, except in adult cash fares. The increase will generate $31.4 million, only recouping half of the total loss from fare evasions. The TTC CEO's office expenses have more than doubled since 2018, from $19.1 million to a proposed $48 million next year.
You're going to see a lot more people probably paying as they enter the subway system.
If approved, the fare hikes will come into effect in March, and we'll have much more from our
Office
full
expenses?
one-on-one
What
year-end
the
interview
fuck?
with TTC CEO Rick Leary in the coming weeks.
The new budget is set to total just over $2 billion.
680 News Time, 11:05. It's been more than 2 years since Queen West's iconic St. Patrick's Market was packed with hungry patrons. 680's Cam Dort reports on this morning's court battle to restore the spot to its former glory.
The city has been trying for years to take back control of the St. Patrick's Market, citing poor management, missed rent, and even a video of a mouse sighting back in 2017.
Free food for mouse. Free bacalhau for mouses.
Now, despite efforts from Market Inc., the operators of the lease, it appears the city has won the court battle. Councillor Joe Cressy led the charge and says there's no specific plans for the space immediately, but wants to keep it affordable.
It's more profitable to sell high-end jackets and cocktails than it is to sell local produce or local art. And so I think there's a real opportunity to bring food and culture back to Queen West.
Cressy says the lesson to be learned from the St. Patrick's Market saga is that public land must be put to better use from the beginning. I'm Cam Doris.
The city of Toronto's launched their largest and most significant water management
This shit says
program.
they already
The Don River
started
and
it
Central
a year
Waterfront and Connected project will work to halt the flow of sewage into Lake Ontario. The 5-phase project includes 3 integrated tunnels, 12 wet weather flow storage shafts, try saying that 5 times fast, and 7 offline storage tanks, racking up a total cost of roughly $3 billion. The first phase involves a 10.5-kilometer long tunnel, which will cost $400 million. Mayor John Dory says the entire construction process should take roughly 10 years.
680 News Time, 11:06. Some will be taking the holiday season to new highs this year with an uptick of people buying friends and family legal cannabis for Christmas. 680's Jeff Slack reports on the new trend.
It's only been a year since cannabis has become legal, with some considering spreading holiday cheer one puff at a time. Stuart Ryan with the Hobo Cannabis
some poor
Company says
grandmother's
it's
gonna
becoming
get
a
mail
popular
because she got
option
like an
for
ounce
others to
for
buy
each of her
cannabis
kids or
products
some
as a
shit.
Christmas gift.
I would say that, yeah, people are generally really interested in getting people what they want, I think, in this day and age.
With edibles set to become legal, we could start to see items similar to beer advent calendars.
They do already exist, and I think that as of next year, you'll probably see them come to fruition with a lot of different companies across the board.
But in buying cannabis as a gift for someone, Ryan warns that you need to do your research and make sure the product you pick isn't too strong to knock the holiday spirit out of them. I'm Jeff Slack.
680 News Time, 11:07. Today is the 7-year anniversary of the Sandy Hook Massacre. Vigils and church services have been held in Newtown, Connecticut in remembrance. 20 first graders and 6 teachers were killed in the shooting. Governor Ned Lamont ordered all state and U.S. flags to fly at half-mast for the day throughout Connecticut. According to activist group Connecticut Against Gun Violence, more than 700,000 Americans have been killed or injured due to gun violence since the Sandy Hook Massacre.
680 News Time, 11:08. Greta Thunberg, who was recently awarded Times Person of the Year, was in Italy today speaking to a group of young activists. The 16-year-old Swedish climate activist apologized to politicians after she said they should be put, quote, against the wall. Thunberg said she was making a literal translation from Swedish, which meant, or rather means to ask hard questions and that she's against any form of violence. She also added that world leaders were avoiding their responsibilities to fight climate change. Thunberg is the youngest recipient to ever receive Times Person of the Year.
680 News Time, 11:08. While conservative voters wait to see who will replace Andrew Scheer as the leader of the federal party, the outgoing leader is now facing his own set of questions. Reporters say Scheer is now facing an internal audit.
Sources from the Star say that there are mixed feelings about the validity of this. One source from the member of the Conservative Fund says that payout to private schools in Ottawa was never disclosed, included, or mentioned, and the information was in fact held from them deliberately. A source who is said to have strong ties to Scheer and knows what he is thinking says this is not the case, and that the use of party funds was included in financial materials and sent to the board for approval. Scheer is apparently furious over these accusations. The controversy continues and could even lead to a legal proceeding in the near future. I'm Jordan Reed.
Still to come on 680 News, a check on the price at the pumps and traffic and weather together on the ones. 680 News Time, 11:09.
We wish you
Let's see if this will work this
Christmas.
time.
We wish you a healthy Christmas. We wish you a healthy Christmas and a smoke-free New Year.